Welcome, watchers. Today is our second half Beta Red. We are going to go about continuing the adventure that we started in the first Beta Red. And then after that, we are going to do talks with Scott, not only about the adventure itself, but as well as the role-playing game that he created that we are presently running. And speaking of Scott, let's just get right into it, shall we?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our second half of this Beta Red game. We are playing in the city, the Chromeport City is the name of this cyberpunkian city that we're playing in our Beta Red game, where we are playing as cyberpunkian mercs on the street doing a job. The mission was presented last time, and the mission was to get into a place and steal a thing. And so our psychic, our robot cracker, our human and clone warriors and seducers are out there to get this job done and get as much money as possible so they can upgrade themselves and continue to work on the street and gain money and upgrade themselves, as is the place now. So let's join our players as we get ready to go about this run. So hello, everyone. Last time you were approached with a job, and you were given, I think, was it 32,000 creds or something like that? That was all fake. But with the turn of a switch or the click of a button, that can all become real money if you get the job done. Sort of a teaser of what you could have in your bank account.
Was it 32,000, or did we get it up to 60,000?
Was it 60,000?
It was 60,000.
Okay, 60,000. All right. So it's 60,000 that you negotiated it up to. So 60,000 creds of crypto/real money in your bank accounts, but it's also one character off from being real, actual creds. But you did some research into the place where you're supposed to go, a building in Old Market, which is the financial or old financial district of town, which is right next to Center Market, where the actual downtown is. These buildings are buildings that used to be the larger mega towers, as it were, but are now dwarfed by the actual very much larger mega towers in our flying car city. And Old Market is full of criminal elements and gangsters, but also those still trying to hold on. Oh, yeah, sorry. Still trying to hold on to their idea of being part of the city, as it were, that they're still part of the financial district. And so the building you're in has a couple of different offices, or the building that you're supposed to go to has a couple of different offices, including the 5th floor, which is, for whatever reason, secretive on the schematic plans, but you know that that's where you need to go. And so that's the point where we're starting off.
Awesome. So I'm assuming that we've basically determined that the creds that we got, that we were kind of automatically wired, weren't real. We planned a way to sneak in, I think, as repair people, because who had the connections where they could get us like some cleaners uniforms. Let me look at my notes.
I think it was cleaning, not repair.
Yeah,
and it was some like
team.
large corporation or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the building contracts to a large cleaning company that does just cleaning, and so they have rotating people all the time that do their jobs. So the plan was to, look like them and come in and say you're doing some cleaning. And then, they would believe it because there's never the same cleaning team that shows up every day.
Right. So I'm looking at my notes. The security company that we're heisting is New TerraTech. Mm-hmm. And then we're posing as people from Johnson Cleaning. Mm-hmm. And the place that we're going after is on the 5th floor, and it's kind of like a B-list corporation, so it's not going to have crazy security.
That's exactly right. Yep. And further investigation of the schematics, you know that the The entrance does have, like the front entrance, which would be the most likely place for a cleaning team to enter, does have a lower level sort of weapon scanner and a couple of security guys that maintain it for the new TerraTech security team. So that's what you know. And then the other thing that you were looking at was that there's like HVAC access from the top, which you couldn't jump to, but I mean, flying cars do make it a little bit easier to try to do that, right? If that was your plan.
Is there like an employee's entrance?
There really isn't. There's kind of a loading zone, but that would be a different story. The cleaning team probably wouldn't come through there, but you could try. There is a loading zone for supplies and deliveries.
Right. I think that we have to look as normal as possible.
Is that even possible? Is that even possible?
I mean, if we're just a cleaning crew,
No,
we don't want
I was
to.
joking.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So,
I mean, yeah, I think we should go in the quote-unquote normal route as the cleaning crew. I do think we should have multiple routes out. So, like, I think we should plan on, like, being able to get out through the roof, through a flying car or whatever. Planning, you know, if everything goes right, we go out the front door as the cleaning crew, or we also know how to get out through the loading bay.
Yep. There's also, like I mentioned, there's also a couple of fire exits as well in the building. So there'd be a grand total of, like, 5 egress points. So there's 2 fire exits, the loading dock, the front door, and the rooftop access point.
so if worst comes to worst, we can always pull the fire alarm and kind of try our best to blend with people as they leave.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad idea.
That's kind of our last resort, just because we don't want to make things too obvious.
I don't even think that necessarily. I feel like the car on the roof is probably the most conspicuous way out. I mean, other than shooting our way out.
Right.
I feel like fire alarm is pretty low conspicuous.
I do have a
Assuming we
question.
haven't triggered like another alarm.
Can the car be like remote controlled or not really?
Yes, it can.
Ooh.
Yes, it can. Cars in this world, because they are flying cars, they do have a lot of functions, and someone could pilot them or fly them remotely like they're a drone. That would take some concentration on that person's part to not like crash into other cars while not in the car, but it can be done. It's not unheard of or impossible.
That can be our last resort right there.
Yeah.
Can the car be parked nearby?
Yep, absolutely.
Like it could go both be like, if everything goes well, like that's how we get there and leave.
Could be a delivery van.
But if we need the rooftop exit, it can be remotely piloted up there.
Correct.
Right.
Yep, that is all valid.
Like some sort of, or maybe not delivery van, but yeah, some sort of like nondescript.
I mean, it can be kind of what we pull up in, which is maybe like a pseudo cleaning company van, and then it can just have a little remote control thing in it. We don't need to have 2 cars, you know?
Yeah, that's
That's what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah.
Then okay, I guess how do we get this started then?
I think the other,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I had 2 other things. Is like one is you mentioned there is some sort of like light security getting in. If we want to bring weapons in, which I assume we do, just in case, we need. How is like weapons scanning? Is it like just like a metal detector or?
It's an electronic scanning device.
Could we bring our weapons in quote unquote cleaning supplies? Because I don't know what level of tech like a mop may have, but if we have like some really strong cleaning solvents or a really technical sort of automatic floor waxer, would those devices set off the same sort of alarms as a gun if put through a scanner? Okay.
It would. But one note is that the electrical scanning device just scans the things that go through. And this is something that fingers would know. Depending on its level of tech, it would be something that you can manipulate so that it scans to read whatever's in your bags to be tools and stuff, rather than them having to search it, right? So if it goes through the scanner and it's like red but then goes green or something, then they would probably just be like, okay, whatever. But that requires your cracker friend to be real quick on the draw with his fingers, as it were, to make that happen in the moment.
I mean, fingers. You think you can be quick on the draw?
I am always quick on the draw, Casp. I can get the job done. Just like my feet are on the dance floor. Smooth and quick.
Funky fresh, my guy. Fist bump.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Just like this Lysol spray.
Too much, buddy. Too much.
Oh, it's so lemony.
And it's the most like artificial chemical lemony.
Yeah, it's a smell that is like someone once dreamt of a lemon, and they tried to remake that smell.
It's like a telephone game of what lemon smells like.
Lemons have been extinct for 200 years. Nobody smelled an original lemon in so long.
Uh-huh.
It's like watermelon candies don't taste like actual watermelons, right? That's exactly the same kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's our way. We have our way in, which is we'll smuggle in our weapons with our tools. Fingers will make sure to hack the scanners to make sure that they look like just tools. Dal, did you have another question?
Oh yeah, my final one was the package of like how big is what we're smuggling out?
So you're supposed to be smuggling out some data, which would probably be on a chip or drive, something that could be pocketed, not very big at all. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
I mean, it's probably not a physical document, as nobody uses physical documents anymore.
Right. It's like a equivalent of a thumb drive or something.
Exactly that kind of thing.
Or
what is the chance there's like a tracker?
Drive.
Fingers, you've done it again.
Always.
What is the chance that there's some sort of tracker on whatever the data's stored in?
Yeah, it probably a solid chance, depending on how important these documents are to the people who have them on the drive. Not all chips will have trackers, but presumably corporate level chips probably do. But more likely, it will be something where the tracker only triggers when it's plugged in, and therefore like indicating what location this thing is being used at, so that they can attack at the right time rather than follow a weird meandering trail across town.
Can we put it like in a Faraday cage or something?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We walk in with the normal cleaning equipment, guns, and a Faraday cage.
It could be a tiny Faraday cage. It doesn't have to be big.
Yeah,
I mean,
especially you have basic
really...
chips, so you know what the rough size of a basic chip is. It's easy enough to make a smaller Faraday cage, as it were.
And as far as we know, it's not exactly our problem if there's a tracker in the data that activates when they plug it in. Like, we're just going to give the data drive to our buyers.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as they're not tracking us directly, it's not really our business.
True. Did they tell us not to look at it?
They didn't, but that idea that there might be a tracker is an decentive, right? Like an incentive not to look at it, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I mean, some mercs will look at data like that, right? And some have a professional code of ethics where they're like, listen, I'm not paid to look at the data, I'm paid to get the data to people. And also, depending on what the data is, some plausible deniability if you do get caught, be like, I don't know what I stole, I just stole a thing. Like,
I was just paid for this.
Yeah. Right. But if you have like if whomever you stole it from has any inclination that you've seen it and it's something that they don't want seen, then who knows? It could be bang bang lights out.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's up to you. It's your choice. Your choice how you want to do it.
I mean, I think for now we just plan to not look at it.
I mean, there's definitely like a knowing this is a one shot.
Yeah.
The curiosity wants to kill me.
We can do that in the moment.
For sure.
I say we get this show on the road. There might be a part 2 to this.
Yeah.
All right. It was Johnny who had the contacts for like criminal elements that might have the way like to get a truck that at least looks close enough to a Johnson cleaning van to pass. And so that was who. When you asked who was it that had the contact, it was Johnny that had that contact.
Yeah, I think when are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, he would go in the bag, and he would make the phone call.
Yeah, the to speed things along, this phone call was already made. It took a little while, so you didn't get to go like immediately on the run. It took a little bit, but then some of your criminal friends came to you with a boosted Johnson cleaning truck, and let you know that while they had scrubbed the all of the information from it, you basically have like 12 hours before Johnson Cleaning Company starts trying to figure it out.
I gotta figure it was hot, so
yeah. You gotta get 12 hours, and then either you abandon it somewhere or drop it somewhere where Johnson suddenly finds it and goes, "Oh, I guess we just parked in the wrong lot" or something.
We could leave it there. Shit.
Weirdly, like out of character note, I used to work for a security company, and that would actually happen to our supervisor car all the time. They'd forgotten which lot they'd parked in, and we'd end up like searching for it. So there'd be like everyone that did parking lot searches be like, "Look for the supervisor vehicle."
Where is it?
So that's the thing, yeah.
Hey, yeah. I mean, phone call has been made. We have our outfits. We have our vehicle.
Yep.
As
Make sure you guys wear gloves. We don't want to leave our prints all over this thing.
Of course.
I mean, not exactly my prints, but okay.
Lucky you.
Darn it, the downside to cloning.
Once again, Cass proving why these rogue clones might not be the best idea.
Right.
so
Where are the clones of?
so Johnny does a little blip, and suddenly the same music that was playing in the bar is now playing in the van.
You're gonna kill
Ooh.
him.
So does Fingers have like the one song?
He has just his favorite song of all. Yes.
It's all his RAM can handle. It's the only MP3 that his system can handle.
I know I'm like dating myself, but it's like a Winamp. I'm just imagining like some funky custom Winamp skin like pops up in his like his HUD vision. And it's just that one song, like the title scrolling by.
I mean, he has other songs, but by the same band. But, you know, this is his favorite out of this particular band, so.
Unfortunately, they only had one album.
Yeah.
He's probably listening like
one song in every album that you're like, yeah, this is the song, and then the rest of this album is garbage. So this is one of those situations.
Yeah, it's their one hit from each album.
Yeah. Cool.
I would say Cass is driving.
Okay. What is Cass's fly and fly rating? Just what is the skill rating?
My fly is I've got a 2 total.
Okay. Good enough to move around in the flying car lanes. There's multiple lanes when it comes to flying cars. There's the low-level lanes for public transport that are free. Then there's slightly higher lanes, which don't really require money, but do require some kind of authorization. And then there's the upper lanes for corporate level sponsorship, which have very few cars in them, and the cars that fly in them usually have some kind of corporate logo on the side, even if they're not supposed to, like a limousine that still has the corporate logo like printed on the side. So you do have Johnson Cleaning Crew, like cleaning company's logo on the side of your van, but at the same time, if you fly up to the corporate levels, that would flag your, recently scrubbed data. So
Right. I think I'm going to stay on like the second sort of level. Because would it be suspicious for a corporate vehicle to be in the sort of commuter area?
It would be a little suspicious. Like lots of commuters would be like, they have corporate access. What are they doing down here in all of our traffic?
Yeah, I definitely think that Cass is flying near the top of the second level, so it kind of looks like, just kind of barely on the edge. Not in
Yeah, like you're not going far or whatever, so you don't need to fly to the top level because you have to ascend and then descend way more than you would need to if you're just going down the road, right? Mm-hmm. Sure. So you fly through a lot of the city of the the different lights. When you pass through Center Market, a lot of the mega towers have like giant billboards or holographic projections coming off of them that show their products or their company's thing. There's a whole big one that is like this weird church, the Church of the Truth, that is like pretty popular amongst the people that are seeking the truth. They're like a new cult, but they're pretty big. They have a whole mega tower with 10,000 people or so living in it, and they've got this giant billboard that's just talking about the truth. Seek the truth. Find the truth in the Church of the Truth.
I heard that they provide meals there.
Yeah, I think Belle kind of rolls her eyes as we pass by.
Aren't those don't the truthers come down sometimes and ring a little bell or like give out sandwiches, try to get us to follow the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they try to do anything they can to get gullible people.
Yeah. Hey, free food though.
Yeah, well, take what you can get down here, I guess.
Yeah.
There's Doll is criminal, right?
Doll is very much a criminal.
Yeah. So you are also aware that because you're bringing up the Church of the Truth, there's just some piece of like random knowledge you have about them.
Mm-hmm.
While they are this Church of the Truth, there's some kind of antagonistic behavior that they have with like the Yakuza and a company currently run by a former Yakuza guy, CBI or Cyberlink International, Cyberlink Biocorp International. And that's just something you know, that he was ex Yakuza who somehow became the head of a corporation. And for whatever reason, there's this antagonistic behavior with the truthers and that guy and the Yakuza. Not sure what it's all about, but that's the word on the street.
Yeah, so I'm like, telling the story to the others, specifically around that guy, and it's like, I wonder what's going on between him and the truthers. Like, there just seems like a weird thing to happen randomly.
Dang, that's crazy. It's really weird to think that like even when you go up on higher levels, they're still doing the same stuff we are in the lower ones.
Yeah. I think in the end,
Little
we're all the
gang
same meat and bones and drives and all that kind of stuff.
Meat and bones and wiring.
The only difference between up there and down here is the creds.
Yeah. Very true.
Maybe the drugs too.
Yeah.
Not
Maybe the
partial
drugs
to
too.
any kind of drugs whatsoever, but I've seen people. And yes, they are, once again, all about the creds.
So flying past all of that, you start to get to the hill, Old Hill. The old marketplace is on Old Hill, which is it's like the oldest part of town. It's the little hill before you actually get into the mountains that separate the north side of the city to whatever is on the other side. That must be just open land of desolateness because nobody lives over there. And the city kind of stops at the mountains, so you start to descend down into Old Hill and you find like alleyways crammed with like little carts and like homeless people camps. Rain is kind of pouring down all over the place, but the building you're looking for is a relatively nice building in amongst all of this place. You can see the NIO property management sign on it, like indicating that if you needed to lease space, that they do have some available, but you can land nearby relatively close. As you land, you see a group of Razor Girls, which is a gang that is in this area, just kind of hanging out in an alleyway nearby, just smoking and stuff. They don't seem to be paying attention to anybody. You just kind of land somewhere near what would be obviously their territory.
Okay. Where does this complex have like a parking garage, or is it like street parking?
It does, yeah. It would have a parking garage for its corporate tenants for sure.
But maybe not the cleaners.
It kind of depends. You're not aware of whatever contract the cleaning company has with the property, but there's a possibility that the company does have a contract to be able to park there, especially to protect it from, random gang violence being so close to a gang territory.
Yeah, do we want to try getting at least near the front of the parking garage just so we don't stay in the open too much?
They could have a delivery dock where, the stuff comes in.
Yeah, they have a loading dock.
Yeah, that's what.
But the cleaners wouldn't come through there.
Correct.
Oh. I don't know. We got equipment, so
Just try it and say we're new to the job.
Yeah, I mean, Doll, you.
Or we could ask them. Or if it's just
Okay.
okay to park there. Yeah.
Doll, I'm not too good at talking with people. Could you
I got
bat
it.
your eyelashes? Okay.
Yeah. I pat Christopher on her shoulder, and I'm like, don't worry, I got it.
So Crisper's gonna pull up to the little, I guess, booth near the entrance of the parking garage and like roll down the window on Doll's side.
Going up to the booth, you see a robot there that looks like a person, but is very clearly nothing from the torso down inside the booth.
Excuse me, we're the cleaning crew. This is our first time here, and I was just totally wondering if, we should park back here.
Cleaning crew, please hold. Ah, yes. Johnson Cleaning. Hold while I scan. And there's this sound from a scanner, and you...
Hey, fingers. Fingers, make sure that we come across as legit with that.
Yeah, I did that before we rolled in.
But the scanner's happening now. So real quick, if you want to make a software roll...
Yep.
See if you can make sure the scanner does read properly.
John is sitting in the back going like this.
You will need 3 successes. But what is the chips that you have again?
Okay, so I have a deck,
Okay.
which lowers my tech level. Then I
So
have
that would be 2 successes you need then.
Okay, then I have a chip, which would be lowers
Which chip?
hack chip or information collect chip.
So would that be so the chip has to be a specific hacking action. So there's brute force, bypass, crack augmentation, crack weapon, eject, manipulate, overclock, overload, sleaze, spike, spoof, or unlock.
Okay, so what was the hack chip specifically, or the chip? What was the different?
Let's see. So the question is, what kind of hacking does Fingers do? Does he do brute force hacking or sleaze hacking? That's like the first way to start
it'd
this.
definitely be sleaze hacking.
All right, so he tries to slip in unnoticed a lot of the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
more than
Just like
likely,
X-Lax.
you'd either have a sleaze chip that helps you sleaze better, or you have a spoof chip which helps you create redundant commands that then increase or decrease the difficulty on your next action.
And can I have both of them?
You could if you have 2 chips.
I
if
did
you pay
buy.
for 2 chips.
Yeah, I did.
Then you could have both sleaze and spoof. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, spoof.
So spoof, what spoof will do is that you would essentially, you have to get 3 successes to successfully spoof, but with your deck and your chip, you'll need 1 success on that.
Okay.
And that creates false redundant information that allows you easier for you the next time you hack something. And then sleaze, which is what you're probably going to do right now, is that you will make a subtle attempt to hack the system without it noticing. It increases your difficulty by 2, but then once you're inside, all of the difficulties are down by 1. But so it was 3 that you needed, so it goes up to 5, but reduce it by 1 because of your deck and 1 because of the chip. So you only need 3 successes to hack this thing and make sure that it tells you what you want without triggering any kind of something's weird here.
Okay. And my software, so it's intelligence, so which is 7 dice.
Yep. And then you're gonna get what is your software?
6, 2.
Can I help out at all? Just looking at the scanning apparatus. Would I have any knowledge of like, okay, this thing depends on this kind of light, this kind of lasers. I'm going to I'm gonna like subtly pull out a mirror to kind of mess with it a little.
Sure. Dave, hold on for 1 second. So what is your intelligence? What is...
My intelligence is 6.
6. Wow. So there's an assisting that you can do where you basically grant half of the stat. So if your intelligence is 6, you can easily give him 3 more dice.
Yeah. Have 3 more dice, Dave.
Maybe find 3 more dice.
Just checking, you're now rolling 10 dice. Is that right? To get 3 successes?
I got, yeah. So I'm just going to re-roll 2 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just need a total of 3 successes. So you need 1s or 2s because that's what your software is.
Actually, I'm rolling. Wait,
hits.
I've got 8 dice, so I'm on roll. Yeah, there's 1 success. There's another. So I'm 1 and 2. Okay, now I got to re-roll. I'm gonna re-roll these 6s. Okay, so that's.
And if you got
right
a 1, it explodes.
That's
so
right.
You get
Okay. Yeah. So so I get another dice after that. So 3 so far.
So re-rolls your 1s. So that was 4 successes or 5? 4.
4 successes.
Yeah, perfect. So 4 is more than 3. So you, in your quick fingery movement and the help of your CRISPR here, you have managed to convince the system that you are absolutely the Johnson cleaning crew supposed to be here today and parking in the garage. That is absolutely correct. So the scanner finishes, and there's just this like green light change around the booth, and the robot just sits there motionless, expecting you to move on.
Yeah, pull forward.
Am I still within the system though?
You are in the parking system for sure.
Okay. Can I? There's nothing to the building though. It's just the parking, right?
Yeah, just the parking structure.
Okay. Well, never mind.
Are there any security vehicles in the parking structure right now? Because fingers could potentially flag them as having expired parking or something like that in case they chase after us.
There are 2 vehicles that have the very clear New TerraTech logo, security logos on them. They're right by the booth as you come in. Yeah, so you are in the parking structure, so if there's anything you want to mess with the parking computer, you can do that with a less difficulty now that you've sleazed into the system.
Is the cameras looped into the parking, or is that a separate system?
The cameras for the parking are looped into the parking.
Oh yeah, we are definitely going to put them on a weird loop.
Cool.
So
yeah, so that's an edit file action. So edit file, or manipulate file rather. For this, I already said that the difficulty was 3, but -1 for the success that you had on your sleaze, so 2. And then you also have a deck, so -1 more. So you only need 1 success to manipulate the files to be able to make it like loop, essentially, and show like no one coming in. You're rolling 7 dice, because that was your intelligence, right?
yeah, that's my intelligence is 7 dice.
Looking for 1s and 2s, and you just need a success to successfully pull stuff.
There's a 2 and there's a 1.
Reroll that 1 just to see how well you do.
Another 1.
Okay, reroll that 1 to see how well you do.
Okay, 4. Nope. So 3 successes.
Okay. 3 successes to edit the file, to put it on whatever kind of thing you want to show them in the system. You have 2 more successes than necessary. So whatever you want to do with the file edits, you can easily edit the video files that they're getting from things.
What I want to do is I want to show where we roll in, and because it's already in the system, stuff like that.
I mean, you can scrub it. That's what you have control over.
Oh, could I? Okay. Yeah. After it gives the green light and whatnot, I make it where like we came and gone, whatever, or not even came and gone. We didn't even show up. So
yeah, you just didn't even enter. So just loop back to before you actually enter the garage, and it's just showing an empty garage as far as anyone's concerned.
Yeah. And as far as like what the computers and whatnot say, we never even,
you scrub the scan of the Johnson Cleaning Company truck at the same time. It's all gone. You were never there.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, now that we're back here, can we just go through the loading dock?
We can go anywhere we want to.
Well, you're in the parking garage. The parking garage connects to the front of the building, so you go
okay.
the door. It does also kind of connect to the loading dock, so you could go through the back door, the loading dock door if you'd like.
Could we pretend to have a big piece of equipment that we can't bring through the front?
Yeah, you absolutely could do that.
Like a buffer and whatnot.
Yeah,
like
for sure. Some floor buffer device, for sure. I mean, you're carrying a bag at least with like quote unquote tools in it, but easy enough.
We've taped a wrench to one of our guns.
Yeah, I'm also sure that the loading dock or the van itself probably had some of that equipment in it when it was boosted. So you have a few things like a floor cleaner or like one of those floor cleaners that kind of drives itself that you have to just kind of control.
A buffer bot.
Yeah.
Buffbot.
Buffbot 5,000.
Okay, let's bring our Buffbot through the loading deck.
Okay.
Everyone hold something heavy, so it looks like we all need to go through the loading deck.
Well, we're all together.
Yeah.
Why go in separately?
Right. Why separate when you're just going to go into clean, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Coming up to the loading door, you find that it is closed. There is a sort of reader access at the door. You can call the front desk, or you can do something else to get it to open.
Fingers, you want to do your thing?
I got it.
And
All right,
I'll help.
Fingers.
I'll help by, like, I have a little magnet or something
Sure.
that I'm going to have nearby just to kind of further disrupt what's going on in there.
If you're
My
ahead.
thought is that cleaning crew has special card, or at least they do here in real modern day life.
Yes.
They have the cards that they just beep, and then they can go into certain access doors and whatnot. So I'm going to do that. So
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say you have two options. You can either do a hardware roll where you're just gonna kind of rewire the thing and bypass it, which is where the magnet would play into effect, or you can software it and just convince it that you ran a badge.
yeah, I'm gonna software it. So okay.
Okay.
So, 1, 2, 3. Wait, just one dice.
You're spoofing again, right?
Yeah.
Or not spoofing. You're sleazing again.
Reason. Yeah.
All right. So then the difficulty would be 5 minus 2, so 3.
1. Okay, 2 and a 1. And everything else is garbage. So
Okay. 2. Reroll your 1.
another 2.
Got it. 3.
So 3.
I have to remember, Dave, that you essentially, because you have the deck and the sleaze chip, that the action of sleazing adds 2 difficulty, but because of those 2 things, it's basically whatever the difficulty was that I determined beforehand. So I just got to remember that. I keep doing the math. I'm like, why am I doing the math? Like, he's just negating. Like, just throw out the number of difficulty.
Gotcha.
Okay. So yeah, so you do your thing. You're like on your little deck, which I'm not sure is internal or not. Your fingers do, like, regardless of whether it's eternal or AI or whatever it is, or augmented reality. I'm sure Fingers does finger things because that's his whole gimmick, right? Like finger things in the air.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's all about what the audio or the watchers can't see, but the Skype people can see. He does the move.
Do you have like a fushigi, like one of those little glass balls with the metal orbs inside that look like they're floating? You're just like doing magic tricks.
Probably. I mean, he's built off the old 70s, these company shows and stuff like that, So he's probably got one of them like medallion-like things that he messes with and stuff like that. So, around his neck,
Yeah, your deck can appear however you want it to.
Hair.
If you want to make that your deck, you can make it like an external thing that you mess around with. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Whirls it.
Yeah, and so you all see Fingers twirling around his device, and then there's like a beep and a click, and then the loading dock door starts to roll up.
It is open for business. Oh yeah.
Making this look easy.
Thank you, Fingers.
Well, that's what you got me here for. Now you, like you, Johnny, you're famous for the pew pew pew. That's all you do, and I'm totally fine with that.
Coming into, sorry, go ahead.
No, we're just going in.
Okay. Coming into the loading dock, there's a bunch of dumpsters that are off to the side. There's this whole load area where you can pull in. There's a raised sort of platform with stairs and stuff. It's all pretty typical loading dock things. There's a door at the far end, which doesn't appear to have any kind of lock on it, presumably because you have to be inside the building, to get to the loading dock anyway, so somehow you would have had to access. But that's all you see. There is a camera in the corner of the room, however, that looks out over the entire loading dock. Do you want to go through the door?
I'm gonna
close the door behind you. How do you want to play this game with the inside the loading dock business?
Can I?
Where? Oh, I was gonna ask if there's like what are they called? Maintenance elevators? Or do we need to go to like the main?
Well, so you don't see any maintenance elevators here in the dock itself, but there's that door, and so it's like a double door kind of thing. So presumably it would open up to what would be the maintenance hallway.
Okay.
I wouldn't be still in the system, would I? With the scanner?
You're not in the building. Well, you're in the scanner for the door. You didn't get into the full building system yet.
Okay.
But presumably when you get into like the elevators, then you can easily, at that point, you would be hacking into the building system.
Okay. I was just wondering about the cameras as far as could I put them on a loop? And
you could, being that you can see the camera, you can try to hack that node, which would then get you access to the larger system, as it were. Likely the systems for camera and like door controls aren't the same system, because that would be a really big security flaw, right? Somebody does one-to-one thing and all of a sudden the entire building is under their control. But since you can see one, you can start the process of getting into their system.
Okay, I'm gonna do that because we are technically not here.
3 again is what you need as far as successes go.
Okay. 2 ones at least.
Okay, that's 2.
Another 1.
3.
Nope.
4. Okay, 3. 3. Did you say 4 or 3 total?
No, I rolled a 4.
Okay.
But no, 3 successes.
3 successes.
Three
yeah,
ones.
Absolutely. So you work on this camera for just a brief moment. For you, it feels like a long time because you're doing all this stuff and there's all these codes passing in front of your vision and you're fooling around with your deck device. But for everyone else, it's just a matter of seconds before Fingers gets done what Fingers is trying to get done. You get into the camera system and you actually have access to all kinds of cameras at this point. You are inside, you sleazed, so the system didn't automatically trigger that somebody was inside the system. But there are multiple cameras around the building, primarily in the lobby levels and the elevators, of which there are apparently 5, as far as you can tell. You're not sure, they all look exactly the same on the inside, so you have no clue like where they are, as it were, but you can see through the cameras of them.
What kind of cameras are there? Are they like the normal move around ones or the circle thing?
They're the circle globe things.
Damn.
They do move though. You can move them. They do move inside the globe.
So, well, I wanted to do
big box
something,
that
but
rotates. They're like just a little camera inside the globe. But what you can see now that you have camera access, you can see your crew standing in the loading dock. You can see some empty hallways, and then you see the big lobby level where you see 3 new TerraTech security guys, security persons in tech vests or tac vests, standing there in the general doorway. 2 are standing in front of the scanning machine, and 1 is sitting at a desk, and the one that's sitting at a desk appears to be very confused.
And I tap in. I can't hear, and they don't.
Yeah,
Through the
you
loop
can
of the
hear
cameras.
the audio is like verbally because the camera is far away from them, but you can make out some pieces of conversation.
Okay, but not from the cameras themselves or from.
Yep, camera records sound as well. But like I said, you're hearing from the camera, but the camera's not right up at the.
Yeah. That
so you can hear it, but it's gonna have like echoiness from the lobby and things like that. So it's not perfectly clear, but you can hear bits of conversation if you listen.
Basically, I'm going to, as I'm listening, I'm going to be voicing what the dude is saying to my crew.
Can you also mute the camera in the room where we are?
No, I'm turning that off. Not turning it off, but I'm looping it where it's before we ever walked in. So we're going to be like total ghosts in this building.
Do a manipulate file action again. So you'll need to get 2 successes on that.
Okay.
And then actually just one because you spoofed the system. So just 1 success to loop that file back.
Yeah, I want to basically make because we entered the parking lot like nothing existed. So I want to just continue that theme throughout.
Just scrubbing yourself constantly from the system so that you're not there. There are no people in the room with you.
Okay, so 2 and a 1. I get to reroll the 1. Dice always rolls 4. So 2.
2. Yeah, you only need 1, so you did it. So you loop back to right before you entered, and you just keep looping that in circles, right? So it just looks like an empty dock. And at that point, you start hearing the conversation a little bit, what you can make out from the security people. The person at the desk is indicating to the others that there was something strange. He saw the loading dock start to open, and he thought he saw people walking in, but then the camera is just showing an empty loading dock, so he must have just like fallen asleep briefly or something. The others start giving him a hard time, telling him maybe he's got to lay off the snorts and the other things that he does on his days off.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just kind of talking about that. But one of them's he's insistent that he thought he saw something and that someone should probably go check. And so as you have done the loop and as you are moving forward, as your group starts to leave the loading dock, however that happens or whenever that happens, he says he's going to go check, and they're like, yeah, you do that, and maybe don't hallucinate while you're at it. And that's what you get out of their bit of conversation.
Yeah, and I'm mouthing this off to the rest of the group.
Let's get going then.
You know, interestingly, as a robot, you could probably just like use your voice mechanism that you use to speak to everybody and just have it just play the audio.
Yeah,
right?
That's pretty much what I'm doing. That's pretty much what I'm doing. So, absolutely.
Just like, and the audio just comes out.
Yeah.
Okay, how far is the nearest maintenance elevator to us? Since Fingers can see all the way down the hall.
Yeah, if the door that he can see in the camera footage is the same door than in loading dock, and he thinks it is based on the two sides of this double door thing, there's 3 elevators in the hall just past the door.
Okay.
Everybody's got a thing to link.
Yeah, most people have like basic cyber eyes or cybernetic enhancements or AR glasses.
Though.
Oh, you have
you mean
clicks, you mean?
No, we all got clicks.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So because I remember
you can easily send the data over to them so that they can see.
So I'm gonna send everybody the schematics and all the stuff that I see about entrances and exits and where we need to avoid people. So
as you all are getting this data, you can see that the fire escape doors do have cameras on them, but presumably now that Fingers is in the system, you will continue to get scrubbed from the cameras and not appear anywhere anytime you appear anywhere.
Fingers are in the system.
Puppeting the system. Okay, let's get going to that elevator then before that guard gets here.
And Doll
That's the
puts
plan.
herself wherever the guard would be coming from. If he gets to us before we can get up the elevator, Doll is the first person that he would encounter, or they would encounter.
Okay. Let's see. High or low? Does somebody want to call it a high or low?
High.
I'll call. Okay.
Okay. All right. So you get into the hallway to the 3 elevators. Very easy call button kind of thing. Weirdly, no seemingly security button. So security control, right? No key card roll or running to press the elevator button. You can just press it. And doing so, an elevator pings. As it opens, you realize that there's no buttons on the inside, just keycard reader on the inside. Likely because you would run a card and it would take you to whichever floor you're supposed to go to.
We're going to the 5th floor. And Fingers already has spoofed a card, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It's like faked a card.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, additional.
Would it work for this elevator?
Good question.
Okay.
So that is the question. Who wants to try and find out?
Crisper's rubbing Fingers' metal shoulders like you're doing so good, buddy.
Are we getting in there, or are we waiting for him to crack it first?
No.
I think you'd want to be inside if it does work.
Okay. I want to try something while he's doing that.
Yeah. What do you want to try?
I think Johnny is going to look at Doll and tell her to make sure that he doesn't fall over, and he's going to lean back against the wall. And I'm going to astral project so I can check the room to see if anybody's in there.
Which room? The room that you're trying to get to?
Yeah. When I astral project from the elevator and, fly
Up to the
my
5th floor.
Yeah.
Ghost level? Yeah. All right. So you will need 4 successes. Are you going to take some beta red, or are you just going to go for it?
I'm going to go for it, but I do have I got that thing that makes it so it's 1 less.
Yeah, right. So you only need 3 successes. So you're going to roll supernatural, right? So you're going to roll psi and then try to get whatever your supernatural number is.
Okay, so right now I got 4 successes and 2 of them are 1s.
Okay.
So that's 5 total.
5 total successes, yeah. you will astrally project. Before we get into what you see or hear or notice while you're actually projecting your spirit self into the 5th floor, you will have to deal with the backlash. There's 7 backlash coming at you, so you have to make a mind save, trying to roll that mind pool number and get the hit limit in successes. So
mine is 2.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Oh boy.
I failed.
So wait, so your mind pool is what?
My mind says 2. Actually, could I use? You said it was 7, so yeah.
You
Hold
can
on,
also
that's fine.
use a feedback.
Yeah, I'll use the 3 feedback, I guess.
But wait, your mind pool is only 2, so you only have an intelligence of 1 and an expression of 1?
Yeah, I figured.
Oh.
He's a big dummy, so.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. then.
Actually, you know what, Dad? I'll
That's
take
fine.
the.
No,
I'm
no,
not
no.
gonna use
Mind
the
pool 2.
feedback. I'll take it. I'll take it.
You're not going to use the feedback?
Nah,
Please
nah.
use the feedback. You're a muscle. You're a muscle. You
How about
can't
you
get taken out.
0 successes,
Fine,
You don't
I'll
want
use
to do
the
0
feedback.
successes.
right? 0 successes.
Well, I guess I'll use the 3 feedback. So that's
Okay. So that's 3 successes. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you any feedback because you used feedback. But you will take 4 damage, 4 health points damage from this feedback that you took. And because it was 3 or more, you have to roll 2 d6s and tell me what the individual numbers are.
I swear if you blow us up.
It might happen. Okay, the first one is a 3 and the second one is a 6.
Okay. So, real quick question: what does it look like when Johnny uses when he uses his psychic abilities? Because there's a physical manifestation of him using his psychic abilities.
I was thinking that as he's leaning in the against the wall and he's talking to Doll, suddenly his eyes roll to the back of his head, and when he astral project, you see some purple energy go out of him, and it like a see-through thing, and then it turns invisible.
Okay. And so it.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say as soon as Johnny's Doll prop me up, and I think Johnny's all meat and Doll is tiny, or she's probably average height, but she's pretty skinny, not athletic
Christopher
at all.
could probably help a little bit.
I think he instantly goes into it. She's runs over, has got holding the base of his hand or head from behind. She's you pulling out a mouth guard or something. She's shoving in his mouth so he doesn't bite his tongue off.
Christopher's also going to have a repair action on him.
Yeah,
just
trying to keep him.
Trying to keep him from going too cray.
Mm-hmm. So as his astral energy leaves his body in this translucent purple thing that comes out as his eyes roll back in his head, all characters in near range lose 1 turn as their minds temporarily trade bodies.
Oh God.
Causing momentary confusion. So Fingers, Doll, and Crisper all just kind of switch bodies for a moment. And we'll deal with that in a second, we'll deal with that right now, and then we'll deal with what Johnny sees as he goes up. Yeah, Freaky Friday moment for sure, where they switch bodies. So who's
But it's
in
only
whose
Wednesday.
body, and how does that feel?
I feel like it would be funny if socially awkward Crisper went into Doll, who was
Yeah, and I
just
think Doll goes into Fingers.
and Fingers
And
is in.
Fingers goes into Crisper.
So there's this weird moment where you're in, your socially awkward self is in this other body that's used to being the, point of attraction for most people. Doll, you're inside of a robot body and you're in the middle of hacking a thing.
No.
And Fingers, you're in the middle of doing algorithms at rapid speed in your brain, and all of a sudden you find yourself inside of a meat body that can't seem to process algorithms that quickly.
That's trying to do chest compressions on Johnny.
Yeah.
What am I in? Oh my God.
Yeah,
I am
it's
so cold
there's,
right now.
fluid that's not in tubes that just seems to be hanging out in sacks and stuff. You're not sure what is going on right now.
Yeah. And I think Doll's obviously very, I guess, in tune with her body and self, given her past, and is suddenly in this one electronic body, but also that has a quote unquote brain that's designed for things she has never really thought about.
Yeah, you see.
I think she's like,
you see the 70s porn.
oh god.
Oh no!
There's like a tab
I mean,
open
she's-
for like
she's seen worse,
gherkins,
it's okay,
for little
but-
Yeah.
for little pubic wigs.
But I think it's kind of like she sees the universe laid before her and like trillions of algorithms. And she's just got this kind of like 1,000-yard stare as like her mind expands beyond anything she thought possible.
I think that being in CRISPR's body is like embodying a really nervous looking greyhound. There's a lot of stress going on constantly, and her body sort of equilibrium is all over the place, like hot flashes and cold flashes, and she was always sweating. So a very unpleasant experience, I'd imagine, for a robot being meat for the first time.
Yeah, Fingers is definitely kind of like wigging out as far as like he looks at himself, looks at what's going on, and is like, I took the brown acid. That's gotta be it. Oh God, what the hell is going on? I did not sign up for Woodstock.
Fortunately, though, Fingers did manage to hack the elevator to make sure that it thought that you were supposed to be going to the 5th level. So the doors start to close, as they do. All three of you, especially the doll in Fingers' body, can see that the guard was coming down the hall, and his eyes are catching you as the doors begin to close. But we're going to jump to Johnny, who is currently not anywhere near all of this and up on the 5th floor. Johnny, zipping through the elevator shaft is really easy when you're moving at the speed of thought, and you can get to the top of the elevator. When you get up there, you find the scene on the 5th floor very strange. It is sort of different, like you know this from astral projecting, that things are going to look different. Things are going to be different colors, mostly grayed out for a lot of like technical things because they don't produce any life of any kind. And then like living things have like heat signatures, but also like astral signatures, right? They leave behind emotional like vibes everywhere. But when you get up there, you find there's some kind of gray smattering of stuff all over the floor, probably technical devices all over the ground. And immediately upon exiting the elevator shaft, there are 3 people whose astral signatures and emotional signatures are quickly fading, laying on the ground. They're wearing tack vests, and they're probably dead. There's a glow coming from some glow sticks, but the color you're unsure of because astral colors and actual colors don't match up very well. So glowing glow sticks on the ground, and there appear to be three full heat signatures in a room near the end of the hall. Presumably the office you were trying to get to, is it doesn't seem to be near any windows. And then there's one more, like one is sort of laying on the floor that is fading quickly, much like the others, that's still producing like some kind of heat and emotional baggage, but it's fading quickly. And then there's one sort of leading over them, a large one, and then a smaller one at the edge of the room, on the far inside.
Shit.
You can make out some words. They're talking, and it's not hard for you to listen, but it's also astral things, so there's like the words are warbled and hard to understand. But from what they're saying, basically one is telling another, she's saying, it's a female voice, and it's saying that Corp is probably not going to make it. And then you hear this like loud voice from somewhere else telling Ace to get on it.
And if I wanted to go back to my body, do I have to fly all the way down, or can I make a like snap and disconnect type thing?
It's like a snap, suck back as fast as possible. It's thought, right? So all you have to do is think back in your body, and you are back in your body.
Yeah, so I think he would do that, and then for a second he's like, like he's breathing, and then he would just tell him, there's
4
other
damage,
people.
by the way. 4 damage, so that's going to register as something with your body, like bleeding nose.
Yeah, he's probably
bleeding
going to
ears,
start
kind of thing.
spitting blood, like. But he probably used to it, so it's like a napkin. But he would say, I think that guy might have double crossed us. There's other people up there. There's dead people up there.
CRISPR in Doll's body kind of tries to stop your nose from bleeding.
He'd probably be like that right now. It's okay. I got it. Thank you.
You actually
He would look at everybody because I'm pretty sure they probably look dumbfounded.
Yeah.
Everyone looks a little dumbfounded.
CRISPR, the body is like going, brown acid. It's got to be brown acid. It can't be anything else. What the hell?
I thought you were gonna fucking do drugs. What the hell?
I don't do drugs. I mean,
I'm talking to
she
you.
doesn't. No, I mean, I'm CRISPR.
And then as soon as you say I'm CRISPR, everyone's minds go back into their normal bodies.
Oh, okay, no, I actually am CRISPR.
Fingers.
I guess all we
shakes.
needed to do was positive thinking. Affirmations.
Johnny, yeah. I'm CRISPR, Doll says, and then, oh wait, no, I guess I am CRISPR. Says
CRISPR says.
So one thing I was curious, you know, when you see the janitors and they have the little cart that has like the garbage can with the bag, and then in the other
Sure,
side
yeah.
it has like the mop bucket. He would pull out his gun from there and then pull out the bat, and he's like, "You guys might want to get ready. There's dead people out there. Somebody's
Okay.
trying to get this."
Immediately after that experience, Fingers grabs the lemony ice Lysol and sprays himself.
The first words out of Doll's mouth is just like 30,000 hours of 70s porn, and you only have 5 songs? 5.
What is wrong with that?
Doll, I'm feeling
30,000 hours.
I was feeling
I
a
don't
little
think
bit
I
of
wanna know
pain
about
in my
this.
lower left, and it was kind of stabbing. You come to my practice after this. CRISPR's then going to pull out her crossbow from the cart.
Now, what did you say, Johnny?
There's other runners up there. Somebody, I think that guy might have gotten other people to do the job, or somebody else heard from it. But there's dead people up there.
Since have the cameras activated, can I see?
No, the 5th floor has no cameras on it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Suspicious. So
Yeah.
as we're going up, I assume Johnny's kind of given us the rundown of what he saw exactly, like the bodies and the people
Yeah, I
down the
would
hall.
relate all that information. Except for the weird lights that I saw and all that.
What weird lights did you see?
Except
Don't
for
worry
that.
about that.
He's like, and I'm not going to tell you about the weird lights.
Does that sound familiar? That would be used by like our runner group or some sort of
Lights?
well, like glow sticks.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
if there are no lights on the floor,
probably. Yeah,
they're
a
out. Yeah, some players or
sufficiently
something.
trained team probably has some kind of backup light system in case lights do go out.
What I meant was the whole astral projection thing. I wouldn't mention the whole trip, just what I saw. You know.
Yeah, just what you saw and heard. Yeah.
Can
Um,
I?
hmm
I'm in control of the elevators.
Correct. Well, you're in control. Yeah, the elevators, as far as you can tell.
Yeah. The elevator. Okay, I know what I'm doing. As we're going up,
Mhm.
I'm going to make sure the elevator doesn't ping,
hmm
doesn't make noise, and doesn't automatically open.
Sure.
So once we get up there, then yeah.
Okay. Elevator reaches the 5th floor as if it traveled there on its own accord. Doesn't make any noise, doesn't indicate that it's there on the 5th floor, and it doesn't open.
We are here. They do not know that we have arrived. I think we can slide in like an Ovaltine shake.
I like that script better.
What's Ovaltine? I remember seeing a bunch of cans of like that were labeled Ovaltine. Is it like an oil?
CRISPR, I'll show you commercials later.
Okay.
I like how Fingers is just programmed with like all kinds of 70s knowledge, and no one else has any idea what that was because it was like 200-300 years ago.
You know, I was part of the corporate segment, you know, or sector. So
Yeah. Some sort of 70s themed corporation, yeah.
yeah.
They didn't want to have to pay like proper modern wages, so they just set all the robots back to the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like, oh, yeah, 25 cents an hour. That seems reasonable.
Yeah, that's fair. It's 1970.
It was one of them nostalgia corporations, trying to.
Yeah. One of those that's trying to bring it back, as things come back into style for the third time.
Yeah. And then after 10 years,
Goes
I got
away.
thrown in the trash can. So,
Yep. Their 80s is back in style now.
Yeah. So.
CRISPR has a little bit of a mullet going on. Just a little bit of one. Like barely a mullet. She's not secure enough to try to go full mullet. It kind of looks like she tried to cut bangs.
Does she have a perm?
You couldn't tell, really. She may have chickened out halfway through her perm.
Johnny, are you going to be all right?
Oh yeah, don't mind the blood. It's alright. Let's just focus.
Can CRISPR do a quick repair check to just kind of patch him up a little bit?
You can indeed. So there is no set target number for difficulty. You just need to make your roll, and then the number of hits that you get is how many hit points you can give back to Johnny.
Okay, so that's intelligence, so 6. And then I have a repair TN -1.
Okay.
So like plus 1 extra hit point.
Well,
maybe?
okay. So then, he's got 4. Yeah, because it was 4 damage he took. So.
Okay. And then I have to roll.
So 3 would heal him entirely, essentially.
Right. So then I have to roll a 1, 2, or a 3.
Okay.
Okay, that's a 1 and a 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 3.
Okay.
That, and then those 2 are failures, and then that's another 2. So 1, 2, 3. So that's 4 successes.
All right. Yeah, so that absolutely will heal up Johnny. You do some of your normal things to kind of help him. Not surgery per se, but, maybe slapping a thing on his nose to open up his nasal passages and things so he can breathe and, like, stopping the blood flow. So absolutely gets back those 4 lost hit points.
Thank you, you don't have to.
Well, what's what we're going into? I think it's better safe than sorry.
So fingers. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, while CRISPR is doing this, Doll is like got a little like a cleaning rag from the thing and a little bit of soap on it, and she's like trying to wipe off the dried blood around his nose.
We're just cleaning up this very dirty dumb man.
So,
Is it that bad?
so while they're doing
Stop rubbing
that,
your nose.
Fingers had an idea. The idea is there's not security camera.
No.
But he wants to reach out into the net, the corporate world, whatever you want to call it, this floor, and find computers, laptops, anything that could have a camera.
Well, unfortunately, you can't see them. That would be the way that you'd be able to. Once you could see one, you could probably catch any that were like connected to the one, but you can't see any right now because you're in an elevator.
Okay, I didn't know if I could like connect from the elevator to the system, then from the system.
You're in the elevator system and the camera system, but you're not in the Wi-Fi system, as it were. Okay. So any ones that would be connected to the wireless, you're not in that yet.
Okay.
This is just somebody who works in a building and has to do a lot of the security stuff. Each of those are individually separated so that you can't just get one and get into all.
Yeah. Well, my brain was also thinking maybe, okay, are we going in this guns a-blazing? Or I have an idea that we could try.
Shoot.
Go down to the 4th floor.
Is there, with our schematics, would we know if there was stairs going up to this floor?
Yeah. Based on the fire escape thing, there would definitely be stairs connecting all of the floors. There's 2 sets. One on either side.
If I could get to a terminal, I could access the computers and then possibly take a peek on exactly what we're looking at.
I think what's going on, from what Johnny told us, is going on pretty quickly. So we don't necessarily have time to go down to the 4th floor, find a computer, risk running into other people, and
I
come
look
back
over.
up.
I look over at Johnny, put my fingers on his shoulder. It's all you then. You first.
Then
And I kind of move off to the side where that little panel is at, that blocks the door.
Yeah.
You kind of squeeze in. Just tell me when y'all ready.
I think we. Crisper's also going to kind of flatten herself on the other side of the door.
I guess it's all me. And now he's gonna start breathing for a second, like heavy breathing, like getting ready, and I
Like
guess he'll hit the
scuba
button.
diver breathing.
Yeah, very much. Like getting ready for the shit.
I'm like, push the cart out first. Maybe if they're there and they see it, maybe they'll shoot it. Give us advance warning.
Thanks, I didn't think of that. So yeah, he's gonna, once the door's open, he'll start pushing the cart out, and let's see what happens.
Okay. Do you open the doors, Fingers?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Opening the door, Johnny goes to push the cart out and immediately gets stuck partway out of the door on some piece of drone that was exploded, and pieces of it are scattering the floor, but also the right hand of one of the bodies laying on the ground.
Ooh. But other
The
than that,
room?
it's not. Yeah.
The hallway is filled with a red glow from glow sticks. You immediately recognize the glow as the typical glow stick glow.
But it looks like.
But the lights are off. Yeah, so it's dark.
But it looks like these guys were taken out from the guys in the room, as opposed to like turrets.
Correct. There clearly were some kind of security drones, but the people that are up here must have taken them out as they're, like I said, they're bits layered in the ground. Makes a crunch noise as the cart rolls over it, and then gets stuck.
Push broom.
I would lift it a little and like kick the hand away so I can get it.
Okay.
we got to get the cart out.
Rolling the cart out, you all hear from the far end of the hall a voice saying, "What's that? You hear that?"
Do they sound like they're gonna come our way?
Probably.
Okay,
Is this just
can
a
I lob
Hi.
the freaking cart?
As
You want to
as you
shove it quickly down the hall?
Like push it as hard as I can down there?
as you do, you hear a voice say from Fingers as it echoes along with the cart. Housekeeping, you want them towels?
And so Johnny's strength is 4, 6. What is it? 4. All right.
Yeah, for
Yeah. I mean, not that it would really matter, but you're pushing this cart with like a bucket, potentially with water in it, down the hall. It goes flying as fast as you want it to go down the hall toward that door. It gets to the door just in time for what appears to be a young woman stepping out wearing just a tack vest. Doesn't seem to have any weapons on her. And it hits her, causing her to go "Hua!" as she gets hit by this cart.
And if possible, I'm gonna stick my hand in my pockets and then I'm gonna take out the beta red thing and just inject it to my neck. Just
Beta Reds are pills, actually.
oh, it's a
Just,
pill. Oh.
just shove them in your mouth. Yeah.
Okay, well I thought it was like yeah, that's fine. I'll.
He sticks in a needle for fun. Crisper looks concerned.
Roll a d6 real fast for me. This is your usage die. Is it a 6?
It is.
Okay, you have poured your entire bottle of Beta Reds down your mouth.
God.
You have used up your Beta Red supply.
Big one-shot energy.
All right. So we will get into some action now because stuff is now happening all at once. So the way that initiative works is you will roll a d6 and tell me what your number is.
Hey,
Johnny Fingers.
that's a 1.
We got a
One.
one also.
1.
1! I
1.
don't know if that's good.
Fingers gets a 5. He's got 5
it's
fingers. Needs all
finger
of that
discount.
time.
5-finger discount.
All right, and I'm going to roll a d6. Bam. Okay, I now have everyone's initiative. All right, Johnny. Well, actually, between Johnny, Doll, and Crisper, who wants to go first? You can all go figure that out, or we could base it off of reflex.
I think I'm slower than them, so they should both go before me.
Got a 5 reflex or reaction?
A reaction, sorry.
I've got a 5 reaction too.
Well, I'll let Crisper and Doll decide which of them acts first in this particular situation.
Right. So what's your soak at?
6.
Okay. So
I was also planning to play maybe decoy.
right. My soak is 2. So I think so we've made a distraction. That person down the hall has had a bucket thrown at them. We know that there's someone dying in there, and then there's one additional guy who's burly.
Two additional guys.
2 additional guys in addition to the person we just shoved the cart at. Okay. So I think our number one goal is the room up ahead the one that we're looking for? I'd assume so.
Yes.
Okay. So we need to get in there and get that thing from them, presuming that they have it. So I suppose if I could lay down cover fire while somebody is able to get down that hallway to grab the stuff from them.
Okay. So you want to lay down cover fire. So does that mean you want to go before Doll?
Yeah, I'll start. I'll get behind a pile of dead bodies of tack vests and start shooting with my crossbow.
Okay, you're going to shoot with your crossbow. Weirdly, while there's no rules that say you can't burst fire with a crossbow or do suppressing fire with a crossbow, just because there's no rules that say you can't do that. It's the future. Why not, right?
I'm imagining like a crossbow that has like a giant magazine of bolts put on
Just
top that auto.
Canister. Yeah.
So cover fire requires you to roll your shoot. You need 2 successes to successfully cover fire, and then you'll have to roll your usage die twice. Did you buy any extra ammo for your crossbow, or is it just a D6?
I think it's just a D6.
Okay. Then you will roll your shoot, which is reaction, right? So that's your pool.
So
And
that's
then
5, and then I need to get a 1 or a 2.
Okay. You need 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay, that's 2 2s.
Okay.
And then that's a 1, so that's 3 successes. And that one landed kind of funny, and then that's a 3. So 3 successes.
3. All right, so 3 difficulty is what you're adding to the enemy's difficulty. That's what cover fire does. So they'll have to try to shoot back at her, to try to do things back at you guys because you're covering fire. Now roll 2d6s and tell me if either are 6s.
Okay. Yeah, 1's a 6.
All right, you have run out of ammo to cover fire for your
Good
team here.
thing I have brass knuckles. Cover punches.
Just these arrows just out of your crossbow, creating cover fire. So for this round, and so at the end of your turn, or at the start of your next turn, you'll have run out of bolts. So they'll be shooting from your crossbow, rapid fire style.
And then I'm wondering, this is more of a next turn question, but is there something I could do with these drones?
Well, they're all broken up, so
they're all pretty broken up. There's nothing that a repair could do to help them.
Oh, you could repair. Yeah, you could repair them. You could do a quick slap job of trying to get the drone back to working order, and then you would be able to pilot it for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I'll do next round.
Okay. All right, Doll. The crossbow bolts just come flying out of this crossbow that CRISPR pointed out of probably around the corner of the elevator while being really low to use the bodies as cover. So ankle level, essentially, just these crossbow bolts flying out all over the place.
Yep. So actually, I'm gonna do a ninja strike.
Oh, gonna rush down the hallway and ninja strike somebody?
A close range, but is it melee weapons only?
No, it is not technically.
Okay.
You just the action includes the sneaking and the attack. Yeah.
The attack. Yeah. So I think what happens is Johnny, bursts out of the elevator, throwing the cart down the hallway, and CRISPR does her dive, next to the bodies to do the cover fire. But I think with Doll, suddenly her chameleon skin turns on, and it's just this almost imperceptible blur just comes out of the elevator and is suddenly standing next to this woman.
Yeah. Now the upside to this attack action is that it doesn't use a shoot or a strike. It uses your stealth, actually.
Yes. Exactly why I picked it.
Yeah.
So target number 3, -1 because of my chameleon skin, and my reaction is 5.
Okay, so you're rolling 5 dice, and what is your stealth?
Stealth is 3.
Okay, so you need 1s, 2s, or 3s with your 5 dice that you roll.
5 roll, so 2, 6, 2, 6, 5. I only needed 2 though.
Yep, you only needed 2, so 2, 6,
Excellent.
2, 6, 5. Yeah, that's 2 successes. Absolutely roll up on this person, and you will do damage. What weapon are you using?
It's a medium gun, or
Medium range?
a medium
Yeah,
pistol.
okay.
Yeah.
So that would be 2d6.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So I'm imagining it's like that scene in The Matrix of Trinity. Dodge this, and the person had no idea she was there.
Yep. And then, bam.
Double
Shot goes off.
3s.
Double 3s. So 6 plus 2, so you did 8 damage to this person. Now let's see if they can soak any of that, even though they were surprised. We need some dice. That's a whole lot of nope. A bunch of 4s, 5s, and 6s on this dice roll. So a whole lot of nope. Yes, so all 8 damage. I will mark that 8 damage. Okay.
Also, they also
Suffer
increase the
the-
target number +1 to the target's next attack actions. I don't know
Yep.
if that stacks with the cover
It
fire.
does. So,
Holy crap.
yeah, this person is going to have to get a ridiculous number of successes to try to do even a basic attack. We'll see how this goes. All right. So then that's you two. Then Johnny, who already shoves this car, and then all of a sudden there's just this explosion of like crossbow bolts and like shoo, 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 like weird stealthy movement, and then gunfire at the end of the hall where the cart is. Johnny, what do you want to do?
I did have one quick question.
Yeah.
If I threw down like my handgun so that way CRISPR could grab it, can I still get like a fighting action or no?
Yeah, I mean you can let go of the thing as a free action.
Okay,
that's fine.
because yeah, I'll take out my handgun and just drop it next to me because I saw that she was giving me fire cover, and I'm gonna run at this lady and she seeing her that she looks like confused. I'm gonna just like grab the bat and just try to hit her in the side of the head with it, like with a big home run swing.
So are you trying to do
Strike,
like a stunning strike or just a regular strike?
just a regular strike.
Okay. Yeah, you're not trying to knock her unconscious. You're just trying to. Yeah, I got it. All right, you cross the room and you go to hit her with your melee weapon. Go for it.
Ooh, so I got 3 successes, 2 are 1s. Okay, so that's 4 total.
Okay, that is enough to hit her with a strike, and your damage is 2d6. Is that
Yeah,
what it is? Or 2d6 plus
2d6.
strength.
2d6 plus 4.
Okay.
That's 2 5s. So what? 14.
Two 5s. Yeah, that would be 14. All right, let's see if she can soak that as you clobber her in the head after she just got shot. One more die. All right. Oh, you're better on that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so she soaks 4 of that. So it still does 10 damage to her, though. So, Johnny, as you roll up on her and strike her in the head with your baseball bat, she had just gotten shot from your friend. You hit her in the head, and there's a crunching sound as she then topples to the ground at the base of your cart.
Another good question. Right after I do that, can I back up and get in front of Doll so that way if somebody comes out, I'm like covering her?
It's a little bit too much for
Okay,
one
that's
action,
fine.
I think. Yeah. But we'll go to Fingers because, interestingly, Fingers got a higher initiative. Fingers, what do you want to do here at this particular juncture of gunfire and movement and baseball bats?
Yeah, would I know that I could possibly access this room from another port?
Yeah, I mean, if you tried to go into another room, you could potentially access this room.
Yeah, I'm going to another room. Screw this gunfire
Okay.
and carnage in the hallway. So, okay, and I realized, stupid me didn't scroll down all the way down on my character sheet, but I got other special things to help me out. So, okay, so yeah, I find a port, and one of my augments is finger ports, which is basically effect reaction +1, but enhancement it's software tech TN -1.
Yeah.
So and then my
So your
deck.
software rolls would be even easier to do
Yeah.
when you're doing this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm hacking the system. I'm gonna try to get into that room without me being in that room.
Okay. So with your finger ports in action,
Yep.
you've got
And then I've got a deck.
the deck, you've got the sleaze chip, you've got your
spoof
fingers. Yeah. The spoof chip doesn't apply here unless you're going to spoof, but you're trying to sleaze, which is what you're doing. All right.
Yep.
So that's -3. Okay. You need. Because you're trying to hack the whole building system, you will need 3 or more successes on this roll.
1, 1, 2. I've got 4 successes.
4. You get into the computer system for the building, at least the networking system for the computers, and you can get into various devices. There's a lot on this floor. I know you're trying to target the room right next to you. There's just a ton of information coming in. Mm-hmm. You can access it after you spend some time sorting through it. Just the rest of this turn sorting through it till you get to the right information. So start the next turn. Get into those computers in that room.
In this room, out of combat as much as possible. And just
got it.
So
okay. You hear the sound. All of you hear the sound of this. Some voice saying, "Slot this!" And there's Johnny and Doll see the big guy turn and just spray wildly a series of bullets. However, he has this increased difficulty from all of the crap that's going on right now, from the arrows flying all over the place. But we'll see what happens. He's going to try to shoot at the doorway where his friend just went down. First fire at, well, probably Johnny, who's standing there. Let's see. So how many shots is he doing? I have to also figure that out. All right, so okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh, shoot. Okay. So legitimately, I have 4 1s, 3 2s. That's a lot of successes. So that's 7 automatically.
Okay. My suck
And
is
then I have to
7
reload
too,
this.
so that's fine.
No, I'm not done yet.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have a. Well, let's see how
All
much.
6s. Let's hope for all 6s.
So 10 successes on this guy's roll. 10 successes. However, he was firing a billion shots. So the way that this works, right, he just has to beat the difficulty number, which he did with 10 successes. So he did those 10 successes. However, that means that he's going to be rolling a ridiculous number of dice. All right. Johnny. Come on. 6, 11, 16, 21, 22, 20 damage, my friend, as you get blasted with these unloading this gun.
Does he take that damage back too, since I got the ricochet thing, or?
Aha! So now we get to see what you soak and see what happens. So now you're gonna roll this soak thing, right? You're gonna roll your soak pool, looking for that soak hit limit number, and the number of successes is exactly the amount of damage you fire back at him.
So, quick question, because I got 7 soak, but then my hit limit's 3, so.
So you're rolling 7 dice, and you need to get 1, 2s, or 3s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. It's gonna be horrible, because if I take all that damage, I'm dead. So. Ooh, that's fun. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes.
Okay.
2 1s. So. 2 more. So that's 6, 7, 8.
8 successes. All right, so you're only going to have to deal with 20 damage, which is quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, I only have 50 health, so I'm going down,
But you did give 8 back to him, so I'm going to write that down. He has now taken 8 damage from his own gun. So there's this firing, and there's this tink, 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 tink sound coming off of Johnny as he falls backwards in, clear pain. But those bullets go flying back into the room, and the guy, he ends up sort of rocking back as he gets shot as well, and he drops in front of you. Doll. There's a flash and a pop that goes off at the far end of the room, and the other person just starts screaming and holding their eyes. They sort of smoke in the corner of the room because they did a thing. We now go back to Christopher.
Okay, so Doll, do you have med stickers? What's the rule
I
of
do.
The med
losing?
patch?
Yeah, of losing like all of your hit points at one and going a little over.
So he went over, so he's dying. He's not stable. So if he had dropped, so 0, like dropping down to 0 is like unconscious but stable. And then below that is dying. However, Johnny did not take like 30 damage, so Johnny is not instantly dead. It is obviously a possibility, as there were 28 damage getting slung at him. So he is dying, he's bleeding out. He has to make this body save with a difficulty equal to the 5 that he is under his hit points, right? The -5 that he has, essentially. But the med patch is the thing that if somebody takes an action to slap a med patch on, it automatically stabilizes. So he's back at 0 and he's not dying anymore. He doesn't have to make those body saves.
Okay. Is there any way that I can grab one of the tack vests
Mm-hmm.
on the ground? You know, I've got Johnny's 9mm also, and run up and do a repair thing while like kind of cowering behind the vest, or is that too much?
No. So the cool thing about the system, right? The cool thing about Beta Red is that you can sometimes you can do those kinds of things where you're doing a couple of things, but the difficulty just increases for the main thing you're trying to do. So you're going to try to repair him or just slap a med patch on him? Which of the two things are you doing?
If I repair him, will that automatically stabilize and bring him up, or will it lower the sort of save that he has to meet?
It could do either. You would lower the save, but if you give more than 5 like things to him, then he gets to stabilize, right?
Well, Doll and I kind of are going on the same turn, right? Doll, would you be up to slapping the med patch on him and then I do the repair to bring him back up?
Sure. The one downside is like the guy is still there.
Well, I mean,
it's like
that's why we'd want Johnny up.
For sure. But I'm just saying, like, it could be just like effectively doing nothing. So like my thinking is like, okay, Johnny goes down, we're both fully healthy, we get Johnny back up, but then the guy takes an action to shoot us. One of us goes down. Like I'm not sure having both of us do nothing, but at the same time, you're right. Johnny is our muscle.
Right. What's your health?
Mine's 14.
Okay, I've got a pretty low health. I've got 12, and then I have a 2 soak. So I think for now, I earlier I wanted to try to repair one of the drones.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to focus on that to give this guy another target to focus on.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to find the least blown up drone.
Okay.
What were you going to say, Doll?
I was gonna say I could med patch Johnny.
Right. Johnny, stabilizing him.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so
Okay.
I think yeah, CRISPR's gonna find the least messed up drone and try to repair it.
Okay. There's a drone that seems to be the least messed up out of all of them. It's a difficulty of 3 to get it back in repairing order.
Okay, and because I have HUD vision, that's a 2, actually, a difficulty of 2.
Yep.
I roll 6 die, and I need to get a 1, 2, or a 3. Okay, that's a 3 and a 1. Reroll the 1. That's another 3, and then that's a 2. So 3, 1, 3, 2. 4 successes.
4 successes. Yeah, you put this thing back together quickly, and it's obviously damaged and janky, but it will fly and it will beep and it will do its normal thing that it's supposed to do.
Yeah, I think I'm just having it. I made sure that it was loud to get that guy's attention.
Got it. So there's this like loud buzz, which is also partially related to its damage because one of the rotors is like hitting the side of something, so it's like as it's flying. Yeah, and that's what's happening with that. Doll, it's your turn.
Yep. Is it possible either I patch Johnny and can get behind cover, or patch Johnny and pull him out of the way or something?
Yeah, you can do both of those things.
Okay. Yeah.
All
So
right.
I pull out a med patch, slap it.
Yeah, no roll required. You just take the time to slap him with a med patch and then drag him away. He is a bit heavy though, So
True.
maybe let's make an athletics roll to see if you can pull him out of the way
Oh
quickly.
my god, I don't know if I can do this. I have a strength of 2 and an athletics of 1.
Ooh, let's see what happens.
Alright, how many successes do I need?
Just one to pull him behind cover.
I rolled double 4, but I'm gonna spend one of those feedback die.
Okay. Yeah, you pull him behind the wall and kind of the cart he's covered as you sort of drag him. Doll clearly has trouble moving Johnny's heavy body as you pull him. But at least you know he's stabilized.
He's like, oh, that hurt.
I think it's like pure adrenaline is what allowing Doll to pull Johnny out of the hallway.
Yeah. So Johnny's stabilized, like still like 1 hit point, like still like able to do things as he comes to consciousness, but like kind of still very injured. And it is Johnny's turn.
Is there like any room like close to me or no?
There is, yeah, there's a room in which Fingers is currently hacking a system that is right next to the room that you were just standing in front of.
Okay, I feel bad for him, but I'm gonna try to get into that room just so there's some cover.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to heal myself. I have what is this thing called? 1 second. I have a psychic thing that I can, the medicine thing. What is it called?
Oh, the psychic healing thing that you're trying to do?
Energy medicine. Is that it?
Well, that one, just to be clear, that one does take a little bit of time.
Oh, that's okay. That's fine. How much would med patch heal me for then?
The med patch is already slapped on you. You already have one on you.
Okay,
Just
so there's no way for me to heal myself then.
Nope. You're gonna need a repair roll on you.
Okay, dang. And that guy you said he went back in the room, right?
Your ricochets knocked him back farther into the room. He didn't actually leave the room. He was spraying at the doorway where you were standing.
So we can see him?
Yeah, I mean, she just pulled you kind of away from the door behind the cart and the wall.
Okay.
Yeah, you can still see him if you want to.
I want to try to like angle myself somewhere where I still have somewhat cover, and I'm going to use psychokinesis.
Okay.
And I do have the beta red, so I get 2 extra die on that.
You do get 2 extra dice
But
because you still
I
have the
take
beta
two-
red in your system.
But I take 2 extra backlash, so that's fun.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
Holy shit! Okay, 6 successes, 3 ones.
Okay. So that 6 is more than enough to succeed.
Okay,
But keep
so-
rolling your ones. Just
2 more. One of them is a 1, and another success. So that was
Yeah.
6, 7,
All right.
9.
All right, that is more than enough to psychokinesis. You manipulate the energies around you to create this ball of energy, psychic energy that you can throw at him, or that you do throw at this person, because the successes include, hitting your target with it. However, your eyes roll back in your head, and there's some crazy, weird psychic stuff that happens to you, and you have to deal with the backlash of 9. 9 backlash. So you have to make a 9 save to negate 9 damage.
Oh god, I'm gonna kill myself. Yay. Let's see, so that's 2 dice, right? That I get to roll. Okay, 1 success, but that's a 1. 2 successes.
2?
Yeah.
7 damage you take, my friend, which knocks you back unconscious again and bleeding out from this weird thing. But now you also have to roll 2d6s and tell me those numbers. Because you got more than 3 damage.
That's 30. That's a 3 and a 2.
3 and a 2. Alright, everybody. Because you were, I guess, Doll. Actually, just Doll, because you're the only one in near range. The others are kind of mid-range. Doll, make a mind save, a TN2 mind save for me.
Alright, got a 7 mind,
Hmm.
7 dice, TN2.
So
I got
difficulty
2
of 2. Yeah, so go for it.
Yeah, I got 2 2s and 2 1s.
Okay. Yeah, you are fine. For a moment, you feel Johnny's psychic energy leaking into your mind to cause it to jarble, but you just shove it aside because you got too much going on right now to deal with that shit. And you're able to keep it under control. Quickly go to Fingers. Oh, the damage you did. Sorry, you did damage, right? because you threw the thing. Almost forgot to include that. So now you will roll your damage for me as Johnny drops unconscious. You will roll. You had 9. How many hits was it?
9.
9. Oh yeah, you do 9 damage to this guy. That's how many hits you. That's how it works. 9 damage. What is it that you threw at him?
It probably just looks like this weird, like wavy, like neon purple beam, and it just scrambles his brain pretty much.
Yeah, it does, because it kills him in the process, as he only soaked 3 of them. So you take him down with this weird psychic thing that scrambles his brain to the part where his eyes start to just bleed and something leaks out of his ears and he just falls to the ground. And
Johnny's gonna put his finger up as he's going down, like, ah!
And then Johnny goes unconscious. Alright, Fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers. Actually, now that I think about it, if he's down, the other guy is basically blind and unconscious. I think we actually end the combat here because there's really nobody left to do anything, and then we can just have Fingers do stuff.
And with that, Fingers puts on the magic music.
Oh my god. Does
And
Johnny need
Crisper-
another med
Crisper
pack?
desperately starts doing chest compressions.
He will need to be stabilized and healed because he took 7, right?
Mhm.
So like 6, -6.
Yeah, I'm a -7 right now.
Yeah, something like that.
Well,
Let's
part of
take a bit
combat
of
with
a
Crisper.
break, and when we come back, we can address the dying Johnny and Fingers doing his magic.
Yeah.
Fingers just boogieing as Johnny's bleeding out.
Yep.
Hi everybody, welcome back. So we joined back our team with Johnny laying unconscious on the ground, bleeding profusely from the wounds that he created himself by throwing a kinetic psychic energy blast at the person who was unloading on the group. And then Fingers working very quickly to do some stuff from the adjacent room, and leaving Doll and Crisper to deal with Johnny's unconscious, bleeding body.
Doll, there's another guy in there who I think is blind. Maybe you can get some info out of him. I'm fine with bringing Johnny back up on my own.
Yeah, I'll go check out him.
Okay, we'll do that, and then we'll jump to we'll go Doll, then Crisper dealing with Johnny, and then Fingers and what Fingers is up to. So we'll do that in that order. So, Doll, you enter the room. There's a very young person, probably 12 or 13 years old, but dressed in a tack vest, holding his eyes. There is a gun at his hip, but he clearly has not reached for it, and he cannot see. Holding his eyes as he bleeds, there's smoke in the corner of the room, clearly a trap right in front of the safe. The safe has been exposed, and it's right there, but he's holding his eyes and screaming in pain.
So, I think Doll walks in the opposite of stealthy, so she's like kind of walking Kiel first, so it makes a little click.
Click. Yeah.
Yeah, for the footsteps when she walks in.
Mhm.
And as soon as she sees like any sort of like movement from the kid, she's gonna be like, "Oh, hey, it's okay. I'm not here to hurt you."
My eyes. Oh, I don't know what that was. They hurt.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll get you fixed up. What's your name?
Ace. Everyone calls me Ace. Oh.
Well, Ace, I'm sorry you have to be a part of this. I'm sorry that this happened to you.
Oh, it's my first job. Oh.
Oh my goodness, you're so young.
Oh.
Well, how did you end up with this group?
Oh. This just needed money.
Are you from the streets?
Yeah. Do you have a med patch or something? This hurts.
Yeah. And yeah, Doll pulls out a med patch, and she she puts a hand on their shoulder to be like, hey, I'm here right next to you, and kind of guides the kid's hand to the med patch, and the Doll's just like, yeah, I'm from the streets too. It's pretty rough there.
Yeah. Just for funsies, roll a d6 for me and tell me if it's a 6 or not.
Okay. It's a 2.
Okay. Yeah. You didn't give him your last med patch, so you're fine. You still have more.
Okay.
Yeah. So the kid takes the med patch and he's fumbling with it, trying to open it. His eyes are closed, but he's definitely bleeding from his eyes as he's trying to open this patch.
So, Doll is a veteran by Merc runner standards, whatever we call ourselves. What does she know would happen if the police or the corp found this kid here?
This kid would probably go to some kind of jail for a very long time and never be reported.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think Doll is just like, hey, I know we just met, but if you stay here, you'll get caught. You understand?
Yeah.
But we can get you out.
What
You just have to trust me.
What about my friends?
I'm sorry about your friends. I need you to focus, okay? I know this is a very traumatic experience, but now's the time to focus.
Okay. And he starts to put the patch on.
Does it seem to help him?
It does seem to relieve some of the pain. Doesn't heal him, right? Just relieve the pain. Yeah. He sits down on the floor and just starts looking at his hands, trying to open his eyes. There's definitely damaged from whatever happened by the safe.
I look over. The safe is open, right?
It isn't open. No. It is still
open.
closed. Yeah.
I'm sending. I don't know if I'm typing a message or while I'm talking to the boy, sending a message to the other group to be like, found a teenager here. His eyes are fried. He's scared. Tried to open the safe. It's not open.
Okay. Let's jump to CRISPR trying to save Johnny as he bleeds out on the floor.
I don't think chest compressions are helping. There's just little spurts of blood just coming out of each bullet hole. Yeah, CRISPR's gonna slap on a med patch and do a repair to sew him up.
Make a d6 roll for me to see if you use up your last med patch.
Okay.
And then
I have 10 med patches. That's a 5.
Okay. Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
You have 10 med patches?
Yeah, I have 10 med patches.
Oh, that's right. They're individuals, aren't they? They're not consumable. Yeah, you're fine. You just use up one. I forgot they're not a consumable, weirdly. All right, so you use up a med patch. You stabilize Johnny, so he's not bleeding out, but now you can make a repair to see how much health points you give back to him by trying to do quick sutures and things over his wounds.
And I have a repair TN -1, so
Right.
in this case that'd be a +1.
Yep.
Roll 6. I need to get a 1, 2, or 3. Okay, that's a 1 and a 3. Reroll that 1. It's a 6. And then that's a 2 and a 3. So that's 4 successes.
All right. So Johnny gets back 4 health points from the quick repair you're kind of doing to his torso and his
I've got a little
arms and
staple
legs
gun. I'm just like,
Yep. Yep.
He's probably laughing a little and confident. He's like, they fucked up my jumpsuit.
yeah, they did. They really did. And then I'm going to start connecting to the car and directing it to go onto the roof.
Okay. We'll fly. We'll do a fly thing here in a second. So it's 4. Johnny, you have 5 hit points now, actually, because of the 4 that you got from the successes, and then the 1
Okay.
extra. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So you have 5 hit points back. All right.
Oh wait, actually he gets 5 because I had
Yeah.
the 4 successes and then the -1.
Right. Since the difficulty wasn't based on the because you did the med patch to him.
Yeah, and then that brought him
yeah.
up to 1.
Yeah.
But then I also have the TN -1 to repair.
Right.
So
Right.
should he be up to 6?
Yeah, we can say that. The TN, so the TN -1
It's
thing
more
would
like
apply
a-
to that, like the minus, because he had -7 or whatever. That would
That
have
would have
dropped it
applied to that.
6. Yeah, that.
Okay.
But that's fine. We'll give him 6 hit points. So Johnny has 6 hit points back. It's still less than half, right? So that's fine. And then you start flying the car to the rooftop. I'm going to jump to Fingers. Fingers, what are you doing in the system right now?
I am trying to access the room. I'm also
Mhm.
trying to access beyond that. If I can get the data that away.
You can't. So the data is saved on a drive or something that is in the safe, right?
Oh, in the
so you
safe.
can't
Okay,
get the
so-
data
Yeah.
off the drive in the
Can I
safe.
Can I hack the safe?
You can hack the safe from this room because you are in that room's system.
Okay.
So the
what do-
safe, based on it, this would be a little bit harder. This isn't a sleaze action that you're doing. This would be, like the what is the word I'm thinking of? This skill unlock, right? So there's an unlock action. You still have the 1 from your deck, and you still have the 1 from being in the system. So the difficulty is 4.
And my finger
It's
ports.
Right, okay, 3, because of your finger ports.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 3 is the number of successes you need to successfully unlock this thing.
So 4 successes total.
4 successes to unlock the thing. So, Doll, as you're in the room talking to the young guy, sending your message off about something happened to them trying to open the safe kind of goes click and unopens and just opens just a little bit in front of you.
And then you hear on a comm, anybody in the room? I got it open.
Yeah, I don't speak, but I type on my wrist thing. I'm totally forgetting what it's called.
Click. The click?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I say, I like, yeah, I'm here with the kid.
Kid? What kid?
The one I messaged out earlier about like 2 minutes ago.
Check your messages,
back.
Fingers.
Yeah, exactly. Scroll back the messages, Fingers.
I was a bit busy in the system. There's a lot here.
Well, we're also busy.
What else do I find? As far as other information.
There's a bunch of information. This particular floor apparently is some kind of diplomatic floor. It isn't an office at all. It's a diplomatic thing. It's like an embassy, but like a consulate. So you're actually inside of some sort of secret government room for the European Federation.
Could I
Ooh.
possibly make copies?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the files that you see just have to do with access and personnel. doesn't contain like emails or anything,
Mhm.
because it will be stored in the room systems, just like access badge, access names of people. Supposing this was a secret embassy or secret consulate office, then those names would be worth something somewhere for
Yeah.
someone. Yeah.
Definitely back. Yeah, making copies, backing that up. Whatever I
Out
have
of
to do.
curiosity, what city/nation are we in?
So you're in Crumport City, which is one of the city-states in the North American area. The European Federation is a group of city-states in Europe that have all agreed to follow the same rules and standards.
Hmm.
And so that's what you're up against.
Got it. So the U.S. broke apart in this world, I guess.
Yep, absolutely broke apart. And the individual cities just became their own self-governing metropolis entities.
Mm-hmm.
So did the European nations as well. The Federation is just literally a series of city-states that agree to the same rules.
Cool.
All right. So you're copying that stuff. You'll be backing all that up. Fingers. To find out what is happening with Doll and then the flying car.
Is there a way to check for traps as this safe door comes open?
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of look at it. You can see that there are no other traps. Whatever the kid set off, the kid set it off, whatever it was. And then, the safe opened, so...
All right, I peek in. Do I see the...
Yeah, there are
thing?
4 chips and 1 larger drive.
I will take them all. Because
Stealing
unless
all
I
of the
know
chips.
specifically which one it is,
You
then,
don't. Yeah. Uh-uh.
then I have to take them all.
Do we have like smaller, like just? Oh, could we take some of the chips from the broken drones and put them in the safe enough to just make it look like they didn't get in?
Yeah, you could certainly remove some of the data chips from the drones, and if you couldn't find enough on the drones, the dead people probably potentially have chips. Like lots of people have basic chips. You could easily find enough to replace it. The drive is a little bit harder, but you can replace a bunch of the chips. So it would look like if you were to try to make it look like nothing was taken, you could replace. It would look like the only thing taken was the drive.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, do we know if it's not the drive? Like, did they
You
specifically
don't.
say a chip, or is it just like some sort of data storage device?
Honestly,
Data
it feels
storage
like
device.
it's the drive. I think it's the drive.
Seems pretty obvious. But yeah, I take them all because I have to.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so you're grabbing all of those, and the kid is now sort of breathing lighter, and he can see a little bit. He sees his friends laying, unconscious and or dying on the floor. And just, oh God.
Yeah, as soon as he starts doing that, I like instantly like get his attention. I'm like, hey, I need you to focus on me, okay?
Make a little bit of a subterfuge roll for me to see if you can get his attention and focus on you. Difficulty of 2.
So subterfuge is expression, and I have a 4 in subterfuge, 5 expression.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, so 5 dice. 1, 4, 5, 3, 1. So that's 4 successes and 2 1s.
Oh yeah, he's obviously paying attention to you now. He looks at you. Oh, and you're gonna roll some more. See how much more you get. I mean,
Sure.
more than enough.
6 and 5.
Okay. He looks at you and just says, "Oh, I didn't expect it to slip. First job and I slip."
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. You're way too young for this. Like, no one could have expected someone your age to like even have the bravery to show up here. Here, and I hold out my hand. It's like, take my hand. Okay, I'll get you out of here.
Yeah, he takes your hand because currently you're the only thing he's focused on.
Is it possible to send messages on my click, like, secretly without the kid noticing?
It's difficult, but yeah, you could pull it off.
Okay.
There's a stealth mode on the clicks so that you can do things, but typing is a little bit hard to do.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just basically like, have kid with me.
Okay.
And I'm like pretty blunt too. It's like part of me thinks it's a trap, part of me thinks but part of me can't leave the kid here.
Okay.
So basically the like cynical, like, veteran mech in me knows, like, expect anything, expect the worst, but also, like, the motherly side of Doll is like, can't leave the kid here.
Okay. Sounds good. CRISPR was going to be trying to do a fly roll to successfully move the van out of the parking garage and to the rooftop.
Yep.
So why don't we see how that goes? Just a quick fly roll and see what happens.
Just a quick fly roll. Okay, so fly is intelligence, which I'm great at. No, it's reaction.
It's reaction, should be.
Yeah. Fly is reaction, and I need to get 1 or 2. So I have 5 dice.
Need 3 successes to not bang anything with the van.
Well, that was 2 6s and a 4, so let's hope my other 2 are wins. No, that's a 5 and a 4. I think that
Whole bunch of 0 successes. So either
Oh,
you
I'm gonna
use
use.
some
Actually,
feedback?
I'm gonna use my 3 feedback.
Okay. 3 feedback. Yep. Totally pull it off then. There's a moment where you realize that the van, as you're flying it up and out of the garage, it's wobbling like crazy and is nearly about to run into some things, including a pillar that you didn't see coming. But you get it under control in your heads-up display and stuff, and you manage to get it out of the garage. It leaves without any kind of problem, because leaving is never an issue. And then you fly it casually as best as you can to get to the rooftop and set it down without crunching any of the HVAC system or anything.
Yep. And then, thank goodness I did that. But I'd also that little drone guy that I brought back to life. He's still kind of puttering around,
puttering and whizzing and making lots of noise.
When we leave, I want to make it look like the drone guy is mostly like he's like the last guy standing, like he took out most everyone and then one person may have gotten away, you know?
Sure. That's the thing you can make happen. Give it a kind of sort of stationary movement thing, or like a patrol box that's flying in like a square around where all the bodies are. Yeah.
Do you tell that to Fingers?
Yeah, I think so. Or it's just kind of like in passing.
Can I make a video where these guys have come up to the elevator and whatnot?
Well, there are no cameras up there.
There are no cameras on the 5th floor.
No, but if they track video feed or anything, they see these guys come in the elevator, come up and come to this floor.
That would take some crazy editing, considering that, as far as you can tell, they didn't show up on any cameras.
Oh, did they not? Okay.
Yeah. But as you're sort of trying to figure this out, the alarm to the building starts going off. Your still camera feed, you can see that the security guard returned to the front desk and has set off an alarm. You have roughly 3 minutes before New TerraTech sends a response team.
We need to get out of here.
Escape vehicles on the roof.
Excellent. And I make
As we're leaving, John is gonna spit on the guy on the floor and kick him.
And CRISPR's gonna wipe up the spit and try to do her best to like clean off Johnny's blood from everything. Lysol.
I mean, Fingers says this whole lemon Lysol spray thing that he carries around.
Yeah. It's his stick now.
It's his cologne.
Yeah. So as you're trying to clean this up, as you're doing your thing, I'm not sure if you gathered up any stuff besides the chips, but you can see where this group came in. They clearly went through the roof hatch, as it is still open in the stairwell.
Johnny, grab the gun.
While the alarm's going off, I'm going to make sure the elevators and whatnot, and like the doors that I'm still in control of, start to slightly malfunction. You know, just enough to slow them down. Like when they swipe the card, it's red or whatever. You know,
you like delete the card database, so like there are no valid cards anymore.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I could
That
do
would be manipulating a file, right? That'd be
Okay.
manipulating a file action. So you can do that
Okay.
to copy, edit, delete, or move files.
Control Alt Delete.
So that number would be 3. Is the number of successes you would need.
Okay. And that includes my deck chip. What about
That includes the fact that you're in the system, the deck, the chip.
my finger?
Oh, I guess your finger too. So 2.
Yeah, 2 successes. Okay. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Alright. Oh, only 2 successes.
Okay. Hey, you did it. You managed to mess with the system so much that the cards won't read initially, and then when they do, the doors will keep having weird malfunctions. You just left a whole bunch of chaos behind in this place as you go to leave.
Awesome.
Yeah. Heading up through the rooftop, you find your vehicle, the Johnson Cleaning Company van, hanging out on the roof. Right where you weren't expecting it to be, but right where Christopher put it. As you do, you see a vehicle that is flying around the building. It looks like a really beat-up 4-door sedan. It seems to stop for a second, and you can see like almost like somebody's looking out at you, and then it just tears off. Presumably somewhere, you don't know, but it doesn't. There's no reaction. Like no one tries to shoot at you, no one tries to come down.
That was their getaway. Time for us to make ours.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And as Fingers climbs in the van, he just does this, and the music plays.
The one song. There's like a split. There's a split second of 70s porn, but then you switch it back over.
The kid climbs into the van and is super confused about what's happening with the music. Still, like, sight isn't super great for this kid and is very confused as to what's going on.
And I just tell him, like, don't worry, it's just his thing. He just has one song.
It's a song.
I have more songs. But yeah, this is
there's
my
way
song.
better music out there. Way
as,
better.
As I spray myself with Lysol.
Fingers! Include space! Dab it! You gotta dab it!
Jody would definitely like point at the kid like, but just leave it alone.
Yeah, Doll without missing a beat is just like turns to the kids like, oh, I'm so rude. I should introduce my friends to you. This is Johnny. Kind of guide
During
the kid
this,
to where Johnny is, even if he
is
can't quite see. In the driver's seat is Crisper here, and the shotgun is Fingers playing his one song.
Everyone get your seatbelts on.
Yeah, and I make sure Ace is
Buckled in.
buckled in. Yeah.
All right. As you go to take off, Crisper, there's this flashing lights and the sudden sounds of what appears to be new Terratech security coming at the building. You're going to have to make a couple of fly rolls to get away as one of them starts to follow your vehicle off the rooftop.
I think I'm going to try to use that little... I'm going to basically go off. It's going to look like the car actually drove off the side of the building, and it's going to take a direct right angle straight down against the actual glass of the building.
Okay.
And I'm kind of sticking real close to the buildings to use them as cover for sharp turns.
Very good. So this would be a skim action that you're taking.
Excellent. And I have a basic chip that helps me out with skim.
There you go.
Okay.
So you dive off the edge of the building, and the security vehicle follows you, diving as well. So you make your roll to see how well you do.
Okay. My basic chip gives TN -1
Right.
skim.
So the target number now is 3.
Awesome. And I don't have my GPS actually. That would just help me navigate. Okay, target number is 3. Okay, that is a 1. It's a 2. So that's 2 successes. And then that's another 2 and another 1. and then that's a 2. So 2, a 1, 2.
Looks like 5.
Yeah, it's 5.
Okay. 5 successes is more than enough. Let's see if these people can successfully not crash into the building as you skim by it. So, for those at home, this pilot skims dangerously close to an obstacle and forces their target to make a TN5 skill roll to avoid taking 46 damage as they bounce off the obstacle. Let's see what happens. Alright, well, I can't find that die, so I'll just reroll one of these guys. Alright. It's a 5, so that's good. So let's see. 1, 2 successes. 2 successes is not enough. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah, so the security vehicle crashes into a building and just tears to pieces as it takes, like, near maximum damage. There's 3 6s and a 5. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So, tears into the building, tears up a side of the building, and then crashes as you fly away, skimming, just barely taking your just move right before you crash into the ground to skim back up into the air. And it just slams into the ground, all sort of exploded as you tear off into the night in this Johnson Cleaning Company van.
This top tier getaway car. Just a sedan, just huge.
Yeah.
So boxy. So boxy.
And so you quickly join the collective of other people, right? Flying as you are all the way back to the lower barrio.
Mm-hmm.
Make one more fly roll to me to see if you can fly casual amongst the crowds of people flying.
I think I want to find another Johnson vehicle to fly near.
Okay.
These guys are a pretty big company, right?
They are.
I want to find another Johnson vehicle. I'm not going up into the 3rd tier because that would, again, cause suspicion, but I want to be near another one so that there's a little bit of confusion.
Okay. So still make that fly roll. Difficulty, well, you're trying to fly with another one, so we'll say a difficulty of 3, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
So reaction. Okay, that's... that's 2 successes.
You don't find another Johnson Cleaning Company vehicle because I think you used up all of your feedback.
I did use up all my feedback, yeah.
Yeah. So you don't find another Johnson Control vehicle, Johnson Cleaning Company vehicle, but you do manage to fly fairly casually amongst all of the other people. You do occasionally see some searching vehicles that appear to be New TerraTech security, but they don't, amongst all of the cars, they don't really see your vehicle in comparison to like all the other white vehicles moving quickly through the city. There's a lot of them. Pretty much all time, 24 hours a day. There's just vehicles moving constantly in the air. So you managed to fly casually with 2 successes, but not enough to hide yourself and get into a shell game of Johnson Cleaning Company vans. Yeah. So maybe someday, somewhere, wherever you place this Johnson Cleaning Company van, they might find it before Johnson Cleaning Company does, and that will lead to weird things from there. So, where do you park as you get close to where you're supposed to meet the guy?
Did Johnny's contact tell him where to put down the vehicle?
No.
I could call them and maybe have them have like a getaway vehicle meet us somewhere, like a parking garage nearby or something.
Like a drop.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, do that.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll call them up and be like, we're done, where do you want to meet?
So this is going to be a cool little thing in the how to talk section. So you're trying to use the contact. Yeah. Let's see which was contact network thing. So it will be a subterfuge roll, and you need 3 successes.
I can help out.
Yeah, I mean, actually, so if it doesn't work out for Johnny, right, Dahl is a criminal and knows some people as well, so
Sure.
Dahl might be able to do that as well.
Could I just be like, here, I'm hurting, can I have somebody talk for me and
Dial the
pass her the
number.
phone?
Yeah, sure.
You're like,
I mean,
hey, I'm bleeding out.
Yeah, it's like, I got hurt, I got some, Doll's gonna talk for me, you guys, they know Doll, I would imagine, so.
yeah, I mean, Doll's a criminal, so stands out.
Yeah, I'll pass.
Someone
I'll,
else
pa-
that
I'll
they
pass the call to
crossed
you.
out with.
What is this contact's name?
Good question. Say
Christian
what?
or something.
Christian, apparently. Christian is this contact's name.
Hey, Chris. This is Doll. Johnny's not in the best shape right now, so he passed the phone off to me. Hey, I was hoping you could do us a little favor. Well, one, we need to know where to drop off this van, and two, it would be great if we could get a little transportation from you.
Yeah, you could drop it anywhere. Let me see if I can get some people to figure out where to put it or where to get you so that they can get you. Make this subterfuge roll with the target number of 3.
Yep.
And see if you can work out some stuff.
So expression. All right, 61242. So that's at least 3.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
a 4, which is actually my subterfuge is 4.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Decent. Yeah, that's well enough. He's like, hey, you know what? There's a chop shop. I know. Yeah, we could drop it in chop shops in Lower Barrio, which I think is where you're going anyway. So that works out. We can get a guy to come pick it up. We'll move the van. Obviously, don't want to leave it there. We'll probably leave it in Upper Dale. Some. Yeah. So why don't you go there? The chop shop. Chop shop's called. What is it called? Vinny's apparently. Vinny's chop shop. I'll send you the data. You can drop it there. We'll have a guy meet you.
All right, thanks, Chris. You're the best.
Yeah. Just obviously it's gonna cut. We're gonna need a cut of some of your money, whatever it is. A couple thousand, probably fine, or 1,000. Whatever you got, whatever the job was.
Yeah, we'll drop you the standard fee, of course.
Sounds good. Also, didn't know that you and Johnny were a thing again, or whatever it was before.
Oh, I mean, we're just friends now. We met,
Yeah,
as
we'll talk
people
later. I know you're on a job. You probably don't want to just have a chat on the phone, but yeah, that's fine. We'll meet you there.
Cool. Catch you then.
He hangs up.
So to Vinny's?
2 Vinnies.
Vinny's chop shop, you find, is actually pretty nice. It is a chop shop, but it's like a mechanic shop. It is in Lower Barrio, so it's got to look nice because Lower Barrio is like the welcome area. So even though it's an illegal mechanic location, it does have like a neon sign. It does have like a little holographic thing of like 2 cars crashing into each other, and it's like Vinny's can help, that kind of thing.
CRISPR used to, the way she got her kind of beginning mechanic skills is she worked in a chop shop, but it was a much dirtier, more like sleazy one than this. So she's kind of like, too clean. She's like, you can see through the windows. Like if like someone comes by, they can just see everything. It's not a good idea.
Yeah. Some of the mechanics, like as you start to bring in the vehicle, some of the mechanics go, hey, and then one guy steps forward, he's like, oh, yo, Christian sent him. I'm like, oh shit, sorry. And they move out of the way as you fly in and park. And then 2 guys in hover bikes roll in, very clearly gangster likes, with the same kinds of shoes and things that Johnny wears. Still some crew of his. And they're like, get on, let's get out of here before someone finds you.
You couldn't bring a car?
Okay. There were just 4 of you, right?
There's one more. There's a kid. But he's little.
Shit. And they look around, and then Vinny goes, fine, take one, just that one, and bring it back. And he points at a 4-door sedan that has 5 seats in it.
Thanks, I appreciate it, man.
CRISPR slides into the driver's seat.
You make it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Fingers.
As I exit the van, I leave the music playing, and then slide into the next. And I've wired it where that's the only song that will play on the system.
And it won't turn off. It won't turn off if they try to unplug it.
You can't adjust the volume either.
One mechanical whole next day just trying to figure it out, going like, I don't get it. Why is it only playing this one song? I can't figure this out.
But no, as I slide into the sedan, I immediately manipulate the system to let it play this music.
So now
Mechanic.
this vehicle is stuck playing this music. You are just spreading like some virus across all things that you touch.
And you hear this mechanic shout, "God, I hate classical music."
The neon hole is bustling in the middle of the evening where it is, or the later on in the night, whenever it is that you arrive. Bustling with all kinds of people talking about their jobs, which means that they haven't done one, because good mercs don't talk about their job until like way after they could get arrested for it. So they're all currently jobless mercs if they're talking about the jobs they've been on.
I think,
But you find your guy hanging out at the bar.
We definitely stopped and got Johnny patched up and got the kid in a way where their eyes won't be infected.
I probably dropped the kid off at my place with my partner.
Took
I
the
feel
gun
like
away.
pulling a kid into the bar, yeah. And took the, yeah, for sure.
Gave them a knife, took away the gun. Gotta have standards.
Well, you have to protect yourself even at 12.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if they grew up on the mean streets or whatever.
Right.
But you find your guy hanging out at the bar.
How uncomfortable does he look?
Super uncomfortable. He's wearing his slick corporate suit.
As fingers of, I know what would lighten the mood.
Oh my god.
Music plays.
There was relatively good music playing in the neon hole for a change as you all came in. People seem to be
what's
digging
this
it.
new band?
And then all of a sudden it switches back to Fingers' favorite music. And people just start like there's some eye rolling and someone looks around and somebody just says, "Fingers must be here." But you just hear that in the back of the bar.
Boss music. This is boss music.
It really is. I slide up the bar next to our contact, Mr. Job.
Mr. Job. So what's the news?
Come back to our table and we'll deliver it.
Sounds good. He puts a little credit chip on the bar and looks at the bartender, who's once again enamored with you.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Just the drinks for that table, all of them." And he just taps the credit chip and then starts walking with you.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you're using real money to pay for the drinks this time.
Oh, I use real money when I deal with real people like bartenders and such. They don't have anything else going for them. For mercs, however, of course, we have to have a safeguard.
Of course.
Yep. Did you get the job done?
Yeah, she pulls out a small case and opens it up, and there are four chips on the drive.
Good job. Yeah, I guess that was probably the smartest move, as I'm not sure which one of these contains the information we're looking for, but I'm sure that the others contain information that we could use. Hold on one second. He types a few things into his click, and Fingers, the money that you were given, the minting code changes on it, and it now is actual viable currency. He said that was for one chip, so I think that based on my expressionary fund, I can give you another 30 for the rest of these.
A 30 apiece?
That'd be another 120.
I mean, the information where we were. I mean, we did see that we were in what? A government embassy?
Not just any government embassy.
It was
Europe Federation.
And considering how beat up we got.
I can see now that I'm not dealing with amateurs, so this is good to know. Let me make a phone call or two, but I can get you another 120.
All right. Yeah, and Dahl closes the case and says, "We'll be here."
All right. See you in about 5.
5 minutes means I got 5 minutes on the dance floor. And Fingers gets up and slides onto the dance floor.
perfectly timed for when the song is like fading out at the end and then fading back in.
It's fading back in. It's like that John Mulaney set where like they're just playing What's New Pussycat over and over and over in the diner.
And so we will leave our mercs here at the bar with their 60,000 preparing for another 120 coming from whichever shady corporation was after the information in the European Federation embassy. And that's where we shall fade off with fingers dancing on the floor and the others getting a round of free drinks delivered to the table.
Thank you so much, watchers, for tuning in to this very, very special episode. We have a special moment at this present moment because normally what I like to do is immediately go to our players and they announce who they are and stuff like that. We'll be doing that shortly. But we are going to talk to Scott about this wonderful, wonderful role-playing game that he has created. If you have any questions whatsoever, please put them in chat. That way we can read them off and maybe Scott will be able to answer them for you. Other than that, let us go to the group and begin.
Hey, we're back again.
Here we are back again. So let's go ahead and go around the room anyway. Announce who you played, who you are, and anything else that you would like to say. And then we will get to Scott questions. Let us go. I guess we'll start off with the wonderful, wonderful Oh God Bees.
Hey everyone, I am Oh God Bees. You can find me on Discord under the same name. And in this game, I played Doll, the human sneak, who grew up on the mean streets and has basically led a life of crime her entire life. And I will pass it over to Shadow Soldier PR.
Hey everybody, my name's Jose, also known as Shadow Soldier PR. I was playing Johnny. Thanks for running the game. It was a lot of fun. Definitely hope I can play it again in the future. And I will pass it out to Belle.
Hi, I'm Belle. I'm also known as Actually a Giraffe. I played CRISPR, the clone mechanic and human embodiment of a Italian Greyhound. I had a lot of fun today. A lot of fun playing in a cyberpunk setting. Don't get to do that too often. And with that, I'll pass it on to Dave the Story Guide.
Yes, everybody, y'all know me. I am Dave the Story Guide. Today I played a robot that was a corporate zombie, basically, in the game that was basically booted out. We officially said in the game itself that he came from one of those wonderful, wonderful corporations that believed that they could bring back the 70s. And once that fad came, did its thing, and went away, so did Fingers. And he got trashed out on the trash heap. So he became a cracker and said, screw you, corporation. I'm going to take everything you got. So that's that. So other than that, let us turn our attention to the wonderful, wonderful GM of the game. Scott, go ahead and announce who you are and what you're all about, man.
Well, I am Scott Uhls, and I'm Hero 170 on the Discord and stuff. I don't have super cool names like the rest of you do, actually, Giraffe and Oh God Bees and things like that. So I'm just a dude. But I have made a few RPGs. This would be Beta Red was my second, but I have 3 that are out there. Well, 2 that are out in the world, 1 that has been kickstarted and will be out there in the world relatively soon. And yeah, I make games and play games and have lots of fun.
So I think our first question for you for this evening is, why a cyberpunk game?
Because I like cyberpunk games. They're really fun, and basically the problem that I have with a lot of the cyberpunk games that are out there, I don't dislike them all. I actually like them all. But I feel like a lot of the times when you're trying to create the game, you get the cyberpunking games are made, and they're like, we're going to have this world, we're going to have all this lore and these mega corporations and these specific rules, and I wanted something that was a bit lighter, that was also free for a game master to kind of create what they wanted in a way that they could do it almost on the fly and have it still run fairly smoothly and pretty good. And like, to be honest, like some of the things that we came up with in this game, I did on the fly. And so, yeah, so like there was just stuff that I was pulling out of nowhere because it was simplistic. Like, for example, the enemies that you were fighting, I had basically determined that they were a relatively functional team, so their difficulty level was 3. And there's just things about NPCs, and so just like you're going to roll 6 dice either way, you just have to determine what a success means for them. And so, yeah, that's just how I did it. So, yeah, I was trying to make a cyberpunky game because I love the cyberpunky world of, like, dystopian future stuff. And I wanted to make it so that people could do what they wanted on the fly and not have to worry about, oh, this was X mega corporation that has this book of history that we have to read if we want to understand what we're dealing with. So.
Going off of that, I've got to ask the stereotypical question because you see it so much, and we are a D&D stream. Why didn't you just use D&D to make this cyberpunk thing?
The PR-friendly answer is that not everything should be based off of D&D. That's essentially my PR-friendly answer. But no, like, yeah, sure, I could have reskinned this game, like any game, like D&D, and made it into a cyberpunk game. But other people have done that already, and so there's just a sea of that kind of thing. But also because there's a couple of things that go along with it. One of the things is that like in a lot of the history of cyberpunkian games, like they kind of are D6 based. And so I kind of wanted to do that because that was sort of the tradition of cyberpunkian games anyway. But with obviously a different system than just the standard D6 system, as you can tell from playing this game now that it's not standard. So that was one thing. But also when I make a game, I wanted to do the things I wanted to do, and I don't want to have to try to figure out how to make it do the things I wanted to do based on what other people say the system should do. So I usually don't, when I go to design a game, I don't look at like an already existing system and just go, I'm going to make my game based off of that. I go, I'm going to make this game, so I need it to do these things, and so I got to figure out how to make that happen. And I don't really focus on a core system. You know, I just try to make it so that it does what it wants. And that's why I didn't just reskin D&D, because then I'm have to like, okay, how do I make tech work based on the crafting system of Dungeons and Dragons, and I've got to make, you know, these different things. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna start at scratch and work from there.
So going on that idea, I guess this question would probably be asked by new creators and whatnot. How long did it take you to create the new system?
For Beta Red, right?
Yeah, I mean, what was your steps? You know, because like you've got a new watcher that's like, man, that sounds so awesome. I want to create my own system, and so. How long did it take you to create it, and what was the steps? I mean, because I've told people it's like be prepared, buddy.
It's interesting to say because Beta Red really was only about a year of creating before it was ready to go. But like Maximum Apocalypse, right? What I was making before that took like 3-4 years before it was finally ready to go. So the steps actually, though, when you're making a game, is to really think about what you want the game to do. So, like, what is this game doing? And then you have to figure out, okay, that's what it does. So how do I make that happen, right? And then you have to figure out this sort of core loop and really focusing on what the core thing is you want to happen over and over again, and then build from there. So if you have like multiple systems of things you want the game to do, they should all really build off of that same core thing that you do over and over again, which would be, in this case, rolling a pile of D6s and hoping for these numbers, right? And like because I've run into games where it's like, you're going to roll a D20 for everything, except when you do this other thing, then you're going to roll a D10. Or this other thing where you roll a D8, and it's like, why? Why are all these different things happening? And you have to sort of work that out. But the first thing you do is try to figure out what you want it to do, and then figure that out, and then build the system to work, and then you can build the setting to make it do. I mean, when you say what is it going to do, you also will have setting in there, but the setting should be like the last step in the process after you're designing a game from scratch. But then you have to do that. Then you have to write it, edit it. Then you have to like show it off to people and play test it. Like you can edit after you play test it, but you definitely have to play test it, make sure it works and does what you want. change things. And this version of Beta Red that you guys played is not the original version of Beta Red. There was a different version of Beta Red that was entirely different and had a whole different set of mechanics. Still used the dice pools the way that they are here, but there was a whole thing about damage and hacking and stuff that I eventually scrapped because it was just too much. This was a simpler way of making it happen. So after you play test it, then you show it to more people, then you have to put it together in a book, and then you have to try to sell it. And that's like the steps.
And somewhere at the very end, you have to add art.
Yeah, the art process is literally, right. It should be at the end. I've known people who start with art, and that can be a good inspiration. But when you finally done the rules, if the art doesn't really match what you eventually created, then it doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
But the art should be the aesthetic of the game, though. Yeah. Right. It should be.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you spend thousands of dollars on art, and then only 4 people buy your book. So like your
or
stuff.
Nobody
so
playtests it. Nobody playtests because nobody wants to.
Yeah, exactly. I guess before we jump to chat, there is like 1 or 2 questions there, I think. I'll have to look for sure. But let's players, do y'all have any questions for Scott that has come up in your brain?
I was sort of curious, like, other than Shadowrun, obviously, like, what kind of inspirations did you have, like, whether mechanically or like cyberpunk setting or anything like that?
Yeah. So I have been I have been reading cyberpunk books for years. It's one of the like 3 genres I generally read. I was wanting to look at like and also watch some anime, but I was like wanting to see a way to make like things like Neuromancer, and like as much as I dislike Snow Crash as a book, like there's still bits of Snow Crash that I kind of liked, but trying to take those kinds of books and stories and movies, Johnny Mnemonic and things, anything by Philip K. Dick essentially, and make that into a story, but then also include the elements from Japanese anime that come in because there's a lot of anime and a lot of Japanese films that are related to cyberpunk. And so I wanted to kind of blend those together in a system that wasn't just specifically very hardcore science-y tech kind of cyberpunk, and not all like super fantasy, like weird, almost magic level of tech that you would get from those animes and stuff. I want to blend the two together. So like Akira is one of a great film, but Armitage the Third was one of the inspirations for this, as well as Ghost in the Shell for sure, as different things that I have read or watched that influenced the creation of Beta Red, but definitely Shadowrun as well.
Anybody else?
So any plans on eventually like adding more to this, or maybe adding some adventures, or is it more like depending how the game sells?
Need stuff for more beta for testers to test.
Yeah, no, I do have plans. The only thing that stopped me from releasing some of the things that I actually already planned is because I have so many other things happening. Like life is hard. So as a game designer, here's one thing that all fledgling game designers should know: you will not become a millionaire. This is not a thing. You make a game and you'll make it because you love it, and you'll make it because you want to play it, and you'll give it to people and you'll show it to people and you'll sell it to people. But in the end, unless you get super incredibly lucky, it's going to be several years down the road before that turns into a super payoff in any way. And it'll mostly be a payoff of people playing your game and telling you about the stories that they made and all the cool stuff that they've done with it and their favorite things. And that's what your payout will be, more than actual cash dollars. So you have to have a real job and do real job things on the side as well. You're not just going to be like, I want to retire and stuff. I've heard of a couple people trying that, but I also am decent friends with some people that was what their life was for a good 10, 15 years and then have gone back to working for Amazon or things like that to make their ends meet. So I do have plans. I have a couple of things that I've been sort of slowly working on, but I'm also having to work on things for the other games that I've made as well. So it's kind of like this slow process where things slowly get cranked out over time. So yes, a few things on the table, especially one that's called Source Code, which is a whole bunch of like a campaign, a couple of series of adventures and things that involve robots and robot coding, and the idea of what happens if a computer virus starts infecting robot AI brains, and how does that affect the world? And does that start because some malicious group of hackers are like, let's drop robots, or is it happening because of just some mistake? And so that's what the campaign's about. So I had that started working on that a couple years ago, and it's slowly coming together. And actually things like Shinkansen Shuffle and like this adventure would play into that in many ways, but we didn't get to see part 2. So we'll see what happens with how I pulled this thing that we just did and pull that into this source code campaign.
Anybody else have anything? Oh, and to add to Scott's thing, the struggle is real. So,
it's real struggle.
Yeah. Multitasking is a thing.
I mean, even not just you, Dave, but another Dave I know, Nerdarchist Dave over at nerdarchy.com.
Oh, yeah.
He and I just had he interviewed me for The Few and Curse a little while ago, and we actually off screen had a whole conversation about how, despite the fact that he's been retired and doing Nerdarchy stuff for the last 15 years, he had to go get another job, and he had to do like job hunting and stuff. Because in the end, there were just too many bills and not enough pay coming in. Yeah,
especially when those bills every so months go, oh, we want a little bit more money. And you're like...
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The prices keep going up, and eventually you have to go back to work.
Yeah.
And, sad day for people like Nerdarchist Dave who have a whole career based off of it. But,
go. If anybody's curious, definitely go check out their channel. They are an awesome group of people, and way bigger than we are at the present moment. So, but yeah,
and they're on Twitch.
They're on Twitch and YouTube.
They're on YouTube for sure. They have 2 different channels on YouTube, actually. Yeah. They've got Nerdarchy and Nerdarchy Live.
Yeah.
Nerdarchy being their main channel.
Live is on Twitch.
And Nerdarchy Live is their interview channel. Yeah. I don't know if the Nerdarchy Live is... I know they stream directly to YouTube when they interview people.
Yeah, okay. Do they? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I think I was kind of briefly looking over it while you were talking, Scott, but I think we've actually answered majority of these questions already. Well, I mean, I guess this would be one from Rinsnake. What kind of work did you have to do to make sure everything was balanced in the game?
So balance is a myth, and that's where I'll leave it. No, I'm just kidding. No, there's actually a number of pseudo peer-reviewed style articles of people having this debate about whether balance is real or balance is fake. Lots of people who've written their opinions on the matter. There is a balance that you do want to create when you make a game, because you don't want to have like psychics just running the entire show, or the fight people running the entire show. So there's a balance. So what you actually need to do is kind of work out what you need to do is work out how everyone does their thing, that they get to take the camera, the limelight, and be in the spotlight for a little bit. And that's what you build. You want to build every character that does that. But then for encounter balance, it's kind of difficult. It really is a testing game of going, okay, let's try this. Was that too hard? Was that too easy? How do we make it harder or easy? So the difficulty systems that you build into your game design really based on that. Now, I will say that I cheated with Maximum Apocalypse, and I used the D100 system, in which case success and failure is based entirely upon your statistical abilities. And so I just, try to make it so that everyone came to an average amount of statistics that were what I wanted them to be, which was, 60 or above. So the people succeed really well on the things they're good at most of the time. For Beta Red, it was a little bit harder to balance it out. And the difficulties... So the base rules for the game actually just kind of fell out of my head one day when I was driving to work. And I was just driving to work, and I was thinking about this thing. I'd read a Kickstarter description of this game that was going to come out, and it turned out that I had misread what they had said the description of the game was going to be. But I was thinking about the system that I thought they had described, and I was like, how would that even work? How would you have these dice pools and then these success numbers on the dice? How would that work? And by the time I had gotten to work, I had worked out this thing of okay, well, if the average number on a die face is 16% on a D6, then, each number would obviously on the die face would be a different percentage, and therefore that would be like more chances of success each die. Well, then the pool needs to be based on how many successes I want, and if I want the average dice pool to be 3 and the average skill number to be 2, then I'm going to assume that there's like a 30% chance of 3, so 1 success for every die pool of 3 with a 2 as the skill. And like I worked out that math, just the math alone in the head to figure that out. And then I was like, well, okay, well then if I set the difficulties like that, where like 1 is relatively easy and 6 is incredibly hard, then it should work itself out. And sure enough, it did after lots and lots of mathing and testing over and over again.
So we kind of answered. So we answered this one question from Chino Mancer, but Jose had another question that we kind of answered. Well, we did in a roundabout way. We gave the long version, but Jose basically says, unless if you want to read it out, Jose.
Oh no, that's fine. You can.
I'll say it is your question. Any tips for anyone who wants to release their own game?
Yes. A couple tips. Firstly, you're gonna need a processor or publisher program. You're gonna need that if you're gonna release your own game. So I'll give you that a heads up in advance. And I would recommend personally, I like Affinity Publisher because you only pay a one-time $50 fee to own it, rather than a multi-month subscription fee for InDesign or other things. But now that I've told you need that, I will tell you don't write in that. Don't write in it. Write in Word or some other document word processor program because you're going to be doing a bunch of changes and edits and stuff. And those things are designed for the final layout and not the early layout. So your alpha document's going to look like a scrappy Word document. And it's okay. That is okay to like be trash in the beginning. So just throwing that out there. Just relax and make your game and then let people try it out, because when I say to somebody, hey, would you like to be a playtester? They're not expecting, or shouldn't, I will say shouldn't, be expecting like a final art-filled document to playtest. They should be expecting something a little bit more janky. But then, fortunately, if you have good people who are willing to give you like helpful advice, they will tell you how hard it was to read your janky document to find the rules they're looking for, and that will allow you to edit it over and over again until it finally makes itself clear and clean and easy to read, and then that is what you put into your final document.
So I think there's one more question that we have, unless if you'll have another question for Scott. There is no other questions in Watcher chat. Players, do y'all have any one last question for Scott? If not, then I have a question that the players are secretly wanting to ask in their heads, but haven't asked officially. When are you running another game for us, Scott?
Well, not in December, that's for sure. It is busy, and it's almost Christmas. But yeah, we could do this again. And maybe we'll go into part 2 and develop that, and maybe it'll lead all the way into source code where Fingers starts getting infected by some kind of weird virus, and then it leads to a bigger thing. Maybe we'll do that.
That would be awesome. Continuation, as we like to call it here on the XP Guild. We do a lot of these weird one-shots that are just continuations. So, episodic, as we also call it. So, I guess it's that magical time, gang, that we thank Scott dearly for doing this special episode. And thank you, watchers, for tuning in. The game block is not done yet. We have Monday and Tuesday left. Both one's a one-shot on Monday, and the other one is our regular schedule programmed on Tuesday. But after that, Dave will recover from points of exhaustion and be unplugged for a while until the next block happens. But other than that, thank you so much, Scott, for doing this wonderful event. And watchers, tune in next year when Scott does it again. So with that, everybody, it's that wonderful time to say thank y'all. See y'all next time.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you next time.